Okay, good afternoon, folks, and welcome to Smudcast number 496. Why Game of Thrones already feels dated. Top of my head, it's 3 years old, and we've been watching a bunch of streaming services for the past 3 years. So, yeah, 3 years is kind of old. Kind of how it goes. That's just, there's other stuff to watch. It's not the talk of the town anymore. It's like when any other kind of movie or show is over, it's not part of the newsreels. It's done. We can go on with our lives. So that's the general understanding. But we are covering a video.
Well, plus it didn't have like a really bad season. And that really amplified people just forgetting about the whole show entirely.
Well, that's a whole other mess that they put upon themselves that leave a really bad taste in your mouth, and you want to forget about it. That's how bad it is. So
Yeah.
to why it feels dated, there must be some other, I don't know, social reason, like cultural reason, like we don't need to watch a show about a bunch of power-hungry people in medieval times in fantasy worlds. There must be something like that. But anyway, this is from The Take. If you guys don't remember The Take, whenever we cover them, they are a very popular channel. They have over 1 million views or viewers. And they cover all kinds of weird feminist things, or with a feminist lens on things which should not be there. At least I don't think they should be there. Like, you can use a feminist lens on Game of Thrones, no problem. But I'm guessing the way they do it is going to be just completely biased and geared towards, well, it should have more women doing this, as opposed to what's actually in the story and analyzing that for what it's worth. So this came out last month in March 15th and has about 215,000 views. That's pretty low.
Really? Last month?
Yeah, it came out last month. So I don't know what.
Wow.
It's kind of weird to bring up Game of Thrones 3 years later to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, to talk about anything. I think we've exhausted ourselves on Game of Thrones.
But I'm just wondering, like, what made them make a video? Like, did something pop up of Game of Thrones recently, or?
No, they just felt like doing it, and maybe they were looking for topics, and that was still on their minds. They might have already done one, 2-3 years ago anyway, as I'm sure most people would have any to do so because it's so popular. Who wouldn't do that? Seems kind of normal. This is not my area of expertise. I'm not a huge Game of Thrones fan. I stopped watching about halfway through, so maybe there's something I'm missing, but I think I heard from everyone else who watched the entire show of why it was bad and why it will have a bad taste in everyone's mouth as a result of the last few seasons, especially the last one. So I do remember George R.R. Martin saying something like they could have kept going for 12 years or whatever, but the creators wanted to have a life, and I was like, oh, so let them quit the show and let other people take over. What's wrong with that? Would have stopped them from just saying I quit. But they were apparently in charge of the whole thing, so who knows? Anyway, this is a long video. It's about 21 minutes long, and I don't know why.
Oh boy!
Yeah, I don't know why it's so long, because these kinds of videos are kind of trite. There's not much to them, so unless they're talking about specific events, which I do appreciate, which should take longer. It depends on what they say about them. It could be something completely silly, like women are not strong enough in this scene, or this is degrading towards women, when it's like, yeah, but that's how the books were. That's how it's supposed to be. So why should it be different? That's what I want to find out from these wonderful women who write these scripts. So, all right, Whisp, where are you, Whisp? Still around? Whisp still has computer problems.
Do you have your tea, Whisp?
Yeah, if there's coffee or caffeine, they're fine. It's not a coffee problem. It's a technical computer problem. So we will find out. Anyway, let's get going. You guys are all on the watch together, I think.
Yep, ready.
Yep.
Okay, let's go.
Protect people. Who is the greatest threat to the people now?
How did Game of Thrones get so instantly dated? Premiering in 2011, Game of Thrones was a phenomenon, arguably the last water cooler show that everyone had to at least know something about. Yet after its widely hated finale aired in 2019, The show that was all anyone talked about became the series that must not be named and disappeared from the zeitgeist, a cultural footnote. So what happened? Game of Thrones ran over a period during which cultural values underwent a rapid and radical sea change. It was viewed as revolutionary when it began for bringing epic fantasy to the small screen and centering powerful women. But by the series' end, the show felt noticeably behind the times. Starting near the end of
This is what I don't understand. It's a show set in a fantasy medieval European landscape. What kind of modern politics and social programs are they expecting? Where slavery is rampant and whorehouses and knights errant and all these other things running around. It's not culturally relevant. It's like, what do you want? You want like spaceships? Like what are you talking about? You want political
I
story?
don't know.
It seems a little backwards thinking here. It's like it's a show about people running around in medieval Europe-ish fantasy land.
Fighting dragons.
And war. I was like, war is bad, yeah. So we got war happening.
Betrayal.
We got war
sex
happening.
scenes,
Yeah, we
apparently.
got war happening right now in modern time. How is it not modern? And this was made last month when I think the Ukraine war started. So
Oh,
is there not enough
it
tanks?
never changes.
Yeah, is there not enough tanks in Game of Thrones? Like, what are you expecting here?
There's not enough women driving. That's the problem.
Oh, right, sure.
We need more female tank.
We need more female knights. That's what we need. Yeah. The one of them wasn't enough. We need more. It's like, okay.
But they can't have boob armor, so that's bad.
Oh yeah, gotta treat them like men. That's right. Sure. Let's squish those women into those armor. Like, okay, let's do that.
Or cut them off.
Oh god.
Easier.
Yeah, Amazonian women in armor. Oh. All right.
TV's golden age of the antihero, Game of Thrones is full of 2000s prestige TV hallmarks that our culture has increasingly rejected. Pointless female nudity, sexual assault,
We haven't rejected nudity. Last I checked.
I'm pretty sure there's like a series that came out recently. I think it's called Euphoria. That one has a lot of nudity and sex and stuff. People are, for some reason, it's coming up a lot on Twitter and stuff. So obviously, I don't see if that's declining popularity or anything.
Yeah, nudity has been.
Yeah, I mean that's like the epitome of Netflix. They always have something like nudity going on in the background.
Well, not only Netflix but HBO started off with Rome, Blood and Sand, I think, or something like that. And that was like ridiculous blood splatter and nudity, so people liked it. I don't think nudity is going to go away anytime soon. So.
Well, what made the nudity in the show pointless? Like they're having sex, right? So like I don't know. I mean, I assume a relationship happened or something evil happened where they take the women, rape them or whatever.
Yeah, there is rape and violence and war and all kinds of things, and that was kind of the point, I thought, with because George R.R. Martin hates war and he wants to talk about the horrors of war, and that involves rape and murder and killing and pillaging and destroying things. So
shit. I mean, I remember I was watching Narcos. The drug cartel stuff. It's basically the same thing that happens: wars, rape, all kinds of nasty stuff in there. And that's happening still. I don't like. How's it pointless and whatnot?
Yeah,
like isn't it there to tell an issue or something for the story?
I think it's because it involves rape. Therefore, how dare you put it on the screen? How would you have nudity on the screen? How could you have nudity and rape on the screen at the same time? It's like what? What is your problem? It's an HBO show or a Netflix show. It's going to do stuff.
It's not real, you know that.
It better damn well show it if you're going to animate it and put it in movie format or whatever the Game of Thrones format was. That's fine. That's good. You want that. You want to have these real life depictions of horrific things that are actually in the books. Like it's really easy.
It's like I don't know. Do they think that people are getting pleasure out of this? It's like I don't know. I honestly can't. And like if the rape is well done, I can't believe I said that.
Right.
It's pretty horrific to watch.
George R. R. Martin was very detailed on how scenes played out, especially the killing of other people, big bloodbaths. So that's the adult appeal of this kind of show. There's themes and content that they don't shy away from that you can't get anywhere else. And it's an epic. It's not just a few seasons. It's a huge story. It's not just one book. It's 7 books.
Well, I mean, the alternative to showing, actors in nudity scenes and stuff would be like, wasting money and time on, CG shadow sex scenes or over-the-wall sex scenes if you want to go and do that. It's like, why just have the actors do it? Or I guess like fake do it, you know what I mean?
Right. And these actors signed up for it. Like, it's in their contract. They know what they're getting into. I don't know what this works out on screen. I don't know how directing does this task, but if they know they're going to do it, they should be comfortable doing it. So it's not an issue of how much there is. Is it well done? That's really what it comes down to. How is this show shot, and does it make sense in the way it's done? Because obviously it's abridged. They have to cut it back for the actual series on TV, because there's just so much content in the books. So when you get 1 season per book, or whatever, the 1 season per kingdom, I think. I can't remember how it was actually shown. You have to cut some stuff back. You have to adapt it properly, which is always a problem when you're going from book to anything else. So if you can get away with it, bravo. Good for you. If you're going to go taboo, go for it. Go crazy. This is what you want.
Yeah. Didn't they have a sibling romance?
Yeah, they
brother
have,
and sister.
Yeah, they have that sort of storyline.
Incest, I mean, yeah.
Incest, exactly. So, Game of Thrones does not shy away from these stories. So you're going to get gritty. You're going to get lots of crazy ideas popping up on the screen. And you're going to show it. So good for them. Doesn't really bother. And if you don't like it, don't watch it. You would have stopped watching a long time ago. I had my fill after season 4 when, what's his name died? Durance? Eric Durance? What the hell his name was? I can't remember. But he played the father of the Lannisters. So once he was gone, I was like, oh, now I don't want to watch the show anymore. So anyway, here is Seek Kyle. All right. Hey, Seek Kyle. Oh God, it's the pseudo-intellectual cinema buff Bolshevik broads. It's great, the Bolshevik broads, who get everything wrong and look like the Joker. TV shows centering around women existed for decades. Also, everything was gay. Game of Thrones did.
What?
Berserk did better. Don't at me. Oh. Everything was gay. Game of Thrones did. Berserk did better. Okay. All right. It's I have to rewatch some Berserk, but it does have rape in Berserk. That's true. It's a very big turning point.
So is Berserk bad as well? Or are we only talking about live action?
I highly doubt those ladies watched Berserk or read Berserk.
I would love to see your take on Berserk.
Oh my God! Oh, there's not enough exposition on the female's point of view. By the way, Seska's like, her brain is destroyed. She can't talk. There's not enough introspection in why she did it. It's like she was raped. She didn't do anything. It's just she got forced against her will. Anyway.
Phoenix moments for women, a sea of morally gray characters who don't really change, and an overwhelmingly white cast with a tokenistic approach to its few characters.
What? Come on. Oh my God.
A tokenistic approach. It's like we found the actors from the book and we made them the way they were in the book. It's like, oh, okay. Sorry, George R.R.
Kind of native to their land.
Yeah, it's too bad George R.R. was not inclusive enough in his original books. So sorry. So sorry. Couldn't do.
Yeah, I'm sorry that. Fuck.
Well, if Grey Worm wasn't black or whatever, or whatever, is it Melisandre or Melisandre, the girl on screen? If they were depicted as anything else, like, oh, there's no black people. It's like, what do you want? You want everyone to be half black? Like, what is the need?
I'm sorry, are we shooting in Africa, or where does this take place?
Yeah, we had lots of olive-skinned folks when they went to Davos. Not Davos, where is it? I'm trying to remember all this lore. Where they go, she goes off to, where was the country after the main country is. I can't remember the name. Like she goes there for like 2 seasons, then she comes back. Or it's longer than 2 seasons. So she's with all these other people in the desert, and they're fighting wars and freeing the slaves and ransacking towns. So plenty of extras of a variety of races and cultures. So,
Wow, that's still
Smudge.
not enough. You're not the
It
focus.
suffers from the white savior complex.
Oh yeah,
No.
that's right. Yeah, she's so white, she's a savior. Therefore, it's a trope. It's like I don't care what background or what color skin the actress is. I really don't.
I don't see enough Mexican. How am I supposed to relate?
There's no sombreros in this picture. Why can't there be better and bigger hats?
Yeah, why can't a Mexican be like the knight? How cool would that be?
I think there was the was he Spanish, the fencing instructor, who taught one of the Starks how to fight. He was pretty cool. I liked him, but like,
Oh, was he?
I don't remember his name. I think it was in the first season, but he taught Arya to fight. Yeah, he was pretty cool. So seems good to me. You got all kinds of people from different There's so many characters in this story. You can't keep track of them all. Like, who cares what color they are? I don't know. Like, anyway.
I want to see swords clash into each other
Yeah.
and fight dragon.
That'd be nice. Yeah. Here's Seek Kyle again. Sony. Sorry. Autocorrect. Everything Game of Thrones did, Berserk did better. One thing I hate about Game of Thrones is that it started the subverted your expectations in media fad that every pretentious jackoff in Hollywood uses today.
Game of Thrones?
I'm trying to think about that because no one was expecting the death of Ned Stark at the end of season 1, I believe, unless you read the books. So this is just what George R.R. does when he writes his stories. He has all these characters. He kills them off. He marries them off. He changes them around. He makes them good, makes them evil, lops off an arm, lops off a body part. He's not scared of doing stuff that is not typical of epic stories. Unless you read like other epic stories, like the water margin story from China and a few others from China as well. That they do these. There's hundreds of characters. You can't keep track of them all. So there's all these plot lines interweaving with each other. So yes, this was the mainstream version of subverting your expectations because people died. But other than that, I think that was mostly shock value. And all the showrunners had to do was just follow the books. They did reasonably well. I don't say, very good, but reasonably well to get it on the screen. Obviously, there were changes of the Vipers with Dorne, I think it was. The leader of Dorne, how that played out. There's all these minor changes that people did not like from the books. And I still remember George saying, yeah, this could have gone on for, perpetually, for 20 seasons or whatever it was. But these guys just wanted a life. It's like, that's not, there's like probably hundreds of directors lining up to direct at least one episode. I'm sure that would be fine. So
Aren't they going to do a prequel now? Game of Thrones?
Who knows?
I heard something like that.
Ever since the announcement of the Tolkien stuff, I was like, oh, this is not going to go over well.
Right.
So other prequels or stuff surrounding fantasy is like, I don't know. Might not be relevant anymore. But it doesn't feel dated. I don't understand that term, dated. That's a weird phrase.
Well, I don't even know what it means. Like, what does it mean, dated?
Yeah, like the cyberpunk genre is dated. I was like, why is it dated? Because it started in the 70s and 80s? Like, what do you mean? Because it takes a while to get a good cyberpunk story to come out? I don't know. If it's popularized, it becomes popular, and therefore people will watch it more or listen to it more. And it's mainstream.
Well, yeah, because it's like, because I'm thinking outdated, but it's just dated. So
yeah, when you watch stories from the 60s and 70s, like sitcoms, it's like this feels dated because of the camera, the stories, the plot lines, the language, the the terms, the characters, like all that feels okay. Yeah, we're more mature than this audience. With Game of Thrones, you're going back in time when people were struggling to survive amongst usurpers and bandits and famine and all these other problems, and their struggles are very clear cut. There's politics involved, but it's how to govern a country amidst being poor or having a giant debt, which is, I wouldn't say is dated. That's a very, very real problem, no matter what time period. So, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I really don't know what makes George R.R. dated, because we're still reading fantasy. We're still listening to really bad fanfic writers, if we do like those things, because that's all we can get these days. So, and if you say Tolkien's not fan fiction, well, it's like, well, technically now it is. The new show will be fan fiction, so that's what we're going to get anyway. I would like to see what George R.R.'s opinion is on if he is involved with the new show. He should be, so he's still alive.
Oh, okay.
He could still write. He doesn't write, so we don't know what he's doing. Poor George. Who knows what he's doing?
Of color. Then there's the outrage over how suddenly the show's finale season turned its feminist hero Daenerys into a mass murdering villain without any convincing exploration of her internal journey. A lot of Game of Thrones is really about
this internal journey.
What?
I don't know what does internal journey mean in their phrase, because to me that means exposition about your internal conflicts, so like you're thinking about things and I'm going to make a choice and I have my own arguments with myself or figuring something out. Whereas
I can understand that in a book, but in the show, are they talking about the book or the show? What
the show? Yeah, this doesn't happen in the book. This is totally new. The last season has nothing to do with the books because there's no books left. So
right.
They didn't know how to develop her character to be as murderous and crazy as she was at the end. So I think that's what they mean. There wasn't enough time dedicated to why she changed the way she did, aside from the bells drove her nuts. So she went psycho, which is...
Smud, she missed her Starbucks coffee. She lost it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, obviously losing that key essential part of her character drove her insane. That was worse than losing my Sunday.
She didn't get enough epinephrine in her bloodstream. Yeah.
Hey, Smud.
Yes.
Sigma Dunn wants to join.
Oh no, it's Dunn. It's the expert. Oh no, we're gonna be here for 4 hours. Oh no, you're
1 minute 21 was enough for us.
Yeah,
Now we should go by seconds.
we should probably rewind and have Dunn start us off on the right foot.
We gotta do this right, all right?
No, you gotta start getting this. I wasn't here for that. Okay. Oh no, he's taking his time. Oh, I was kidding, Dunn. You didn't have to come in. It's all right. You don't have to join the call. Just stay where you are. Everything's great. Oh yeah. Oh,
Where's Whisp, by the way?
I don't know. Who knows? Whisp is still. I don't know. She's fixing her net connection, or couldn't tell you.
Her hair.
Hey, Dunn, how you doing?
Hey.
Sigma
Always down
Dunn,
for
what's
this.
up?
Yeah, we're doing
Ew.
21 minutes of The Take, which happens to be about why Game of Thrones feels dated, and we're still not sure how a show from 3 years ago could feel dated. I don't know what that means.
Guess maybe it's
Yeah,
like
can
the
you explain
early
it to us,
50s
Dunn?
show? I haven't seen the video. Any of the video. I
Just imagine what her explanation.
dated well. Eye candy.
Okay, so you're saying the visuals of the movie or the show is not up to current standards of whatever, like lighting.
I'm saying there's titties.
Oh,
Titties on screen.
Are you saying that titties are outdated? Is
Eye
that
candy.
Oh, I thought you were
Like,
talking about
the fact that kind of the idea is that they don't really show. They don't want to go for necessarily as or high levels of pornographization post or in a lot of media because they don't want to have Me Too stuff happen to them.
Interesting.
Like the levels of nudity in Game of Thrones is not necessarily as prevalent even on HBO nowadays. That might change with House of the Dragon. That's one way it kind of feels dated. Also, the fact that Game of Thrones was very casual about showing rape on screen, which is a big no-no, and like even interviewers told the producers, yeah, there have been a couple of politicians that have said we're quitting watching your show because of the number of rapes, and the showrunner said, well, there's like we totally understand that people can't handle the sexual content, the violence, but the nice thing is there's a bunch of other cable TV, so you can just watch that instead.
Yeah, and this is all based off the books anyway, which had that in the narrative regardless. So it's like, okay, the showrunners can only massage the narrative so much. It's like, oh, this is a rape scene. Well, you don't have to show it, but they never shied away from that, which I always enjoyed. The fact that, blood and gore and sex and nudity, like it's there on the screen. They're not going to not show it because that would be taking away. Can you imagine like the first few episodes they have rape and murder and decapitation, and they're just like, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. Like it's like, wait a second, that'd be stupid. That's not how the book was written. That's not how these scenes play out. So at least you can say the first few seasons they did a reasonably good job getting the book adapted. And the fans would say, well, no, they missed a lot of key scenes. I agree. There's all kinds of characters they missed out and they didn't flesh out a lot of. And that could have been handled a lot better. But I don't know what their timeline was. I don't know what their budget was. I don't know what was happening behind the scenes to only make it go 8 seasons. Because I do recall Martin saying they could have gone for 12 or 13 seasons if they wanted. But because the two guys wanted to have a life, they only went 8. And it seems like a cop-out because I'm sure the popularity, anyone who've known this show, they have lineups of directors waiting to go and just jumping into their shoes. So, I don't know. I still trying to figure out what they're getting at here with the feeling dated from Game of Thrones. So, anyway. Here's Porcelainus IV. Thank you. Whisp isn't here because she's stuck in the weed cave. If you listen to her closely, you can hear the faint sound of her shouting, "Mein Gott, this cave is full of Blutsmoken."
Can you stop giving me this? They wanted a life bullshit, please. They got a potential deal to do their own Star Wars trilogy, and therefore rammed Game of Thrones into the ground so that they could get to that quickly. And then Disney saw, oh fuck, what have they done to Game of Thrones? We're not going to take you after all.
Oh.
And so they lost their deal. It wasn't about getting a life, it was about ruining the next shit. But they ruined Game of Thrones too hard.
Yeah,
that was that.
And also they ruined it in a way that wasn't woke.
Oh, so they just...
Yeah, they're just
dropped the
random
ball.
Agents of Chaos, not woke Agents of Chaos. And what these women here said right in the beginning, the first few seconds, oh, why does Game of Thrones feel so dated? And the first thing they say is, it had a really bad ending. There you have your answer. Why are there 20 more minutes?
Yeah.
Seriously, what the fuck?
Yeah, we all know. We all know why.
Yeah,
So,
because
like,
it had a fucking shit ending. And
that's
they rushed through the books with because
unique.
they could have made like anyone else, even if they had rushed through the book, changed story path because they have characters out, events, blah de da. Doesn't matter. You still could write your own TV show ending that makes sense to wrap up this thing because you don't want to do it anymore. You don't want to hand it to someone else because you're a bloody narcissist. Okay, then write your own cohesive ending, and then you get at least some reputation at the end, and aren't laughed out like the last clowns of the earth. Like, what are these two guys doing now? Why isn't Benioff? What are they doing now?
They are working on something called, I think it's called The Chair for Netflix.
The Chair. They make a show about the chair.
Like the chair of a university, like the chair of a university, chairman or something. Like it's got Sandra.
Oh, you're
Oh
talking about Shock Chair.
Really, Sandra? Oh, okay, interesting.
She's like a producer on it or something.
Bloody hell. Oh yeah, and the Daenerys thing. She's the character. She is so. Names. The Lannister woman, the evil Lannister woman. Cersei. Yeah, she is just evil. She is truly plain evil. Daenerys starts out okay, but she goes crazy over time because of her family. It's in her genes. The problem is that whole journey is missing. They say, "Oh, she's this feminist icon." Rah. No, she goes for a Mary Sue journey, but on purpose, because she gets everything handed to her. Yes, she gets raped by Khal Drogo at some point. All right. But other than that, she gets everything handed to her: cities, armies, dragons, bloody everything, a fleet. What did she do for that? She's just around. She's the girl with the what's it in English? Hydrogen peroxide hair. It's not just blonde. She's platinum blonde. And that's why she gets that. What? Because of her name? Okay, but that is what pampers her. Yes, she does know a bit of struggle, but bloody hell, she gets to have world handed to her. What she does, what the way to her to insanity that I could have written her is that she gets so power hungry because finally she does get detached from the people. Because at first she really cared about all the people, but at the end she just lets people be eaten by her dragons because, well, they didn't kneel fast enough. Yeah, but that is an okay journey for a pampered ruler. Okay, could have done that, didn't follow through with it because they could have at least stayed on that level, didn't.
All
Show's
right.
bullshit. That's why it's forgotten. Had it been just wrapped up, all right, people would rewatch it still. But this way, fuck off.
Yeah, it's the same with any ending to any show or game or series that people have invested so much time in, and they feel so let down at what resulted. Because Game of Thrones was all about who's going to survive, who's going to be at the end, and how do we get there. And when you screw up the how, I think that is the problem, because everything was written, again, the first few seasons, everything was written very tightly. There are reasons why characters are doing what they're doing. There's lots of exposition. There's lots of, I wouldn't say lots of introspection, but enough motivation to explain why they're doing what they're doing. It may not be the smartest thing to do, but it makes sense within their character and what they know, which is fair, which is fine. You don't need to have guys be super intelligent all the time. And then you get to the last few seasons, at least the last season, and things just don't have any connecting joints. It's like, why is this happening? Why is she doing this? How could you forget about an entire fleet of ships?
Because these guys don't know how reality works. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about anything but whatever sadistic little trick they can play on the cast. That's what they care about. They don't care about actually making a good show. They got these jobs for out of corrupt reasons in the first place, not because they're anyway good. And then these two bloody bins put her up as the feminist icon. Yeah, because she's a Mary Sue who gets everything handed to her. It's the princess story. Shouldn't you think this is misogynistic? Having this princess that gets everything handed to her? No, they think it's a wonderful feminist wonder thing where she saves the world before being around. Fuck off.
All right.
And there was one more thing. These idiots. gonna come back to
All
me.
right, we'll keep
It's gonna
going.
come back to
Here's
me.
the Giga Chad. Hey, Giga Chad, thank you. Politicians after a marathon of Epstein's Pedo Island. There's too much adult sex on this show for me to retain my interest, so therefore I will not be watching.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's not go there. Anyway.
Oh, right. I remember. And this is important. Because while it didn't end in complete SJW nonsense, it ended in a lot of stuff that they do like the Arya kills the Ice King. And what they're doing now is, you remember this bad thing? Can you please totally forget it ever happened, it ever existed? Because this is while we know that Weiss and Benioff went deliberate doing SJW bullshit, they were still destroying a cultural product, which is part of this whole cultural war crap. Because it's not a war of cultures. What it actually is just destroying culture. And so we have the people who have culture on one side and the people who want to destroy all culture on the other. This was you could say, an innocent bystander of culture, a cultural icon that was destroyed, A Song of Ice and Fire. And after that, after it's now completely sullied, now the SJWs, because these two women definitely are part of that, tell us, please totally forget the thing ever happened so that you don't remember what we are actually doing. So first you lose interest in your thing, and then they tell you, that thing that was really bad? Yeah. Don't remember. Please don't remember that it's our fault that it got bad. But please forget it ever existed. And this is what they will do with all the other things, with Wheel of Time, with Halo, with He-Man, She-Ra, the Marvel MCU, Star Wars, Star Trek,
DC,
Warhammer at some point.
You name it. This will be the next phase. Once they have Lord of the Rings, once they have destroyed and sullied all the cultural icons, the cultural bastions, the cultural treasures of our world, they will then tell us, just please forget the entire thing ever existed. Because, you don't like it anyway, right? You don't like it anymore anyway, right? So now just forget it ever happened and then be fine. And then we will truly have nothing. It's not just this World Economic Forum bullshit of you will own nothing, but that also includes what you don't realize yet. That also includes culture. You will not have a culture. You will not have a cultural treasure to rely on, to remember, to think of, to fantasize about, and hopefully, from their point of view, to create.
All right.
Oh boy, that's scary.
Let's get into this FEMA anger that they're going to be talking about soon.
Like someone in the stream memes is gonna edit this. It's gonna be some kind of weird, messed up N-word edit.
FEMA camps of anger?
Yeah. With women, yeah.
Oh,
great. All Mexican. Yeah. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Female anger.
When my dragons are grown, we will take back what was stolen from me and destroy those who have wronged me.
But in the end, it punishes Daenerys' rage, turning her from a dragon-riding girl boss into an evil dictator who deserves to be murdered, and by the lover who rejected her, adding insult to injury. As The Atlantic observed, this rebuke of anger was a misreading of our moment, because just as the show was ending, our society was owning the importance of getting angry when change is called for.
Like infanticide that was recently legalized in California just the other day. Is that your woman moment? Pussy hat?
Yeah, the Pussy Hat riot or whatever it was called. That was a fun time.
Yeah, it sounds really fun.
It's basically legalized from what I understand. That a child death up to 7 days after birth will not be investigated. I wonder what you can do with that situation. So this is not clear. This is not clearly stating it, but it's like, we have created this environment now where we can do the thing. This is, by the way, this whole these systemic problems that they always talk about that they are creating here. But what it really needs to be called in this instance is systematic, because it is created intentionally. feminism, not even once.
I think the hats came about as a result of the election of Donald Trump and the comments he made, and that's why everyone was wearing these pink cat hats for, I don't know, a few months, whatever it was. I don't know why that caught world acclaim, but it's the same idea with.
Well, because cats are cute and they're all crazy cat ladies. But I was just mentioning the pussy hats for comedic purposes, not for.
All right.
The other stuff is the important stuff.
But it's always like they're not saying it, but it's pretty much it's because it's Trump. Therefore, there's all these social issues jumping around during the filming of this show. Therefore, why does it feel so dated now? It's like we have other problems outside of a guy who says crazy shit on Twitter. If you haven't noticed, your current president in America, little worse than a guy on Twitter saying crazy shit. So. All right, calm down, guys. Calm down. It's okay. All right.
Thrones let down or sidelined most of its female, POC,
ASMR.
and LGBTQ characters.
Oh, fuck
it almost
off.
turned itself into a time capsule.
LGBTQ characters. There are some gay people. Period. That's it.
Yeah.
Some people are gay. Like, nobody gives a shit.
All these
Seriously,
strong
in the
women,
West,
and the
nobody
winner
gives
is
a
a
shit.
white dude.
If you want to go to a place and cheer that this, oh, we have some gay visibility. Go to fucking Saudi Arabia or Qatar. There you can see gay people being thrown off roofs and being stoned.
Wait a second.
But I doubt you'll go there and preach your rainbow agenda shit.
Isn't the white dude who sat on the throne at the end in a wheelchair?
He's disabled.
Yeah, doesn't that make this lady an ableist?
Uh-oh.
The winner is a white dude. He's even fully in touch with reality. Whoa! Yeah. Oh god! Yeah, I just read the text here. Fuck. Yeah, that's wow. Wow. Okay, that's ableist in two ways. Even for one, physically, and secondly, if she thinks he's crazy because he's making a joke about his vision stuff, which is, by the way, very real. It is absolute reality that he's dealing with there. Go jumping through time and crap like that. She's also shaming him for being mentally disabled.
Yeah, the concept
isn't that what you want, SJWs? A physically and mentally disabled ruler?
Well, it is a blonde woman, so they're not particularly bright.
It sounds like
no. The natural blondes are fine and even slightly more intelligent. Studies have shown it is the ones that have dyed their hair blonde that are the dumb ones.
Yeah, I think there's
Well, she doesn't look like a natural, so I mean, am I wrong?
Well, I mean the hierarchy of what's the phrase is inclusivity. Like they have this the hierarchy of who's on top, and it's always women, minorities, and colored women or whatever. But because it's a male and he's physically, incapacitated and mentally incapacitated, whatever, that does not trump a female. So it's as soon as it's a male, you're already down a few rungs. So it's kind of like they have their priorities. They've already figured out their hierarchy of oppression.
Yeah. Why are these white women complaining that there are not enough darker skinned people in the show?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do they just want to jerk off to black people?
I don't know. It's weird. There was plenty of olive-skinned dudes in the arc with Daenerys that she had to subjugate and free the slaves.
This whole continent of diverse people.
Yeah.
Westeros apparently is diverse.
Same with same with the Unsullied. Same with the
like Dorne.
The Dornish. Who are the wildlings? The wildmen.
Well, they're technically Norse people, so they are super white, so they don't count.
Yeah, you can't really tell. So there's all kinds of different cultures and races all smashed together all over the place, and what's wrong with that? That's diverse. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Wes, are you mixing your tea or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's Porcelina's the fourth. Our society was owning the concept of getting angry when there was something to fight for. Unless, of course, you were a man and not a minority and also not an Antifa communist. These women lacked father figures in their childhoods. They probably
They also lacked sane mothers.
They lacked a lot of things. I wouldn't say just the father figures. There's other issues going on where these people take their ideologies from and run with them and don't think about what they're saying. So
I'll just keep running with my idea now that everyone should be thrown out into the wilds for 2 weeks, and we only keep those that come back alive.
Yeah, everyone should do that as a child, I think, with other children. And obviously,
no, they're gonna eat each other. No. You do this alone.
It's gonna be the Hunger Games, Mud.
Singular, one kid at a time. Give them some survival training before 2 weeks,
okay.
But then all you give them is, you have your clothes on, here's a knife, see you in 2 weeks.
There's a bear that lives around the corner. Watch out.
Honestly, guys, everyone as a kid should join some sort of association for the wilderness, whether it's the Cubs or the Boy Scouts or the Girl Guides, like whatever it is, and just get out there, camp, go in the snow when it's freezing, when it's raining, when it's hot, every season. Get that out of your system. Figure out how to hunt, and start a fire, and you'll be a much better person later on in life because you'll respect what you have to do to survive.
Learn how to build a furnace and forge your own sword in the wilds, like that guy who does these.
Oh really? Makes his own sword. Holy shit!
Fucking hell! What's his name? He's got a 10 million people channel.
Oh wow!
I keep forgetting his name.
Bear Grylls, because that's the one I'm thinking of. The survivalist. It could be a different person.
Yes, it's this really, really serene thing that you can just watch to just relax. He's just a guy who bought his own huge part of land. I think in Australia. Not sure. And he just builds everything from scratch. Like he has his bare hands, and he starts digging in the mud.
Oh yeah.
And a few hours later, he has a little furnace and is baking tiles for a roof.
Really?
And yeah, and then at some point he went so far that he actually melted some metals.
The only guy I've seen. That I think he's Thai or Filipino. He's called the Minecraft guy, like in real life, and he digs.
Oh, that guy!
He has this little. It's like a spear. It's like a short spear, and it has a little piece of metal at the end for a shovel, and he just makes like buildings like down. He builds downward, and he constructs water, and he has it flow into there so he could swim around and clean stuff, and he bakes things so it's harder. He has straw beds and stuff. It's really wild. And he does this all within a few days. It's kind of crazy. So,
yeah.
Anyway, let's keep going. Tomboy Wehrmacht. All right. Hey, Tomboy Wehrmacht.
Beautiful names.
Primitive
Technology was the name. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
They use the women's movement footage, even though most of their organizers turned out to be grifters and scam artists and actual anti-Semites. Young people in this generation
super racist.
Are desperate to be heroes that they'll make up causes to fight for. I see where you're going with that. I don't know if that's the real reason, though. That's
the fun part was that these Women's March feminist leaders who were anti-Semites were black women who preached about racial justice, which included
the Jews.
Anti-Semitism, because the Jews are behind everything, and they're the arbiters of capitalism, and therefore, it's like you may remember me ranting about the term racial justice being a word that no German dares to translate into German, and much less speak out. And everybody whom I've asked about it thinks that it must surely be a word that comes from Hitler's Mein Kampf. And them being anti-Semites while talking about racial justice makes perfect sense, because that's what it really is about. It's that the anti-Semitic, so all socialism is anti-Semitic, has to be, because socialism fights capitalism. Socialism, therefore, believes that who has all the capital, who is the best dealing it with money, that must be the avatar of capitalism. Capitalism. Yeah, let's call it capitalism. Capitism.
Cappuccino.
So in order to eradicate capitalism forever, they need to destroy the Jews. It's not just that the Nazis wanted to do that, and they wanted to do it for that reason, or one of the reasons. It's that all socialists in the end will do that. Doesn't matter if they're brown, red, or green. They all want to do that. And that is why the Labour Party in the UK has this giant anti-Semitism problem, and why the Left Party in Germany has this giant anti-Semitism problem, all just beneath the surface. Yeah, that's on that tangent.
All right. 2 minutes in. Let's keep going.
Underlining how much changed in a few short years. Even more fundamentally, on the story level, it rushed toward a finale that left numerous plots unresolved and wasted almost all its characters' development, leaving a confusing and disappointing legacy.
You wanted this. You want incompetent people in charge.
And all the people left alive are sat around the table. So, what are we going to do now? Shall we have a cup of tea?
So, are we ready yet to talk about Game of Thrones? And can it ever hold a place in our hearts again?
They could remake it, but probably not with the same actors.
That was the intro?
This is the take
on
your favorite movies, shows, and pop culture.
Wait, is the video over?
Don't forget to subscribe.
God, she
And
looks
let us know what you're
not
watching.
healthy.
Your support means so much to us.
That green screen is freaking
Sponsored
me
by
out.
established titles.
Oh no, not this.
Besides about being a real-life
No.
Now you can.
This is so silly.
Lets you buy at least 1 square foot of dedicated land in Scotland.
Dumb.
Okay, so you want to buy
I can own my own castle.
you can own like a foot of, what is it, a foot or a few inches of land in Scotland or something, and you're officially a lord.
You can buy more.
Yeah, I know, but it's kind of goofy.
You don't want your own castle?
This is their sponsor?
Eric, you're not getting a castle.
Oh.
You're getting a tuft of grass.
How long is this thing?
Eric, the money was
Probably
never
2
there.
minutes.
You're not going to Guam.
All right, let's go.
Go to
Damn you, Hawk.
establishedtitles.com/the-take to get your gifts now.
Look, I remember. Yeah. Fatally flawed finale. Yeah. Fuck off. You are the very people who, until Daenerys
They haven't
started
said anything.
genociding, until Daenerys. Interesting Freudian. Until Daenerys started genociding King's Landing, you loved everything about this show. You excused everything about the show, including that absolutely retarded battle in the final season, in the darkness. You excused every bullshit that happened when the show went downhill. Absolutely fucking everything. And you cheered when, what was his name? Something with T, but not Tyrion. The Greyjoy guy.
Theon.
Dion.
Theon, yes, Theon. When Theon's dick was cut off, you cheered because you are misandrists, and you laugh at the pain and suffering of men, whether they deserve it or not. Because you are disgusting, duplicitous people. The only reason you hate the finale is because Daenerys suddenly, due to the writers being absolute retards and finding it funny to inflict psychological suffering and pain and maybe even damage on the actress.
Yeah.
Decided out of a whim to burn King's Landing. And no, it didn't translate that it was the bells that did it, even though it's in the title. Because there's absolutely no setup why the bells should have any effect on her psyche.
Yeah.
If that had been set up somewhere, maybe in the first season or something. Man, that could have been something. But no, it's just random. It's just pure random shit. That's the only reason you don't like it. Because your favorite Mary Sue character, that is an intentional Mary Sue, mind you, and because then you can do it good, because then you can bring her down, you can tear her down. Only because your Mary Sue suddenly did a really bad thing. That's why you don't like it. Had you not done it, you would still excuse the show and watch it up and down and left and right.
All right, they haven't said anything yet, but okay, let's keep going.
They already said that in the first 2 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know why they
Problem
started a 2.5 minute intro.
I thought the video was over. I was like, oh, that was good. Not too long.
Well, we're 4 minutes in, so yeah.
A number of beloved shows have suffered from finales their fans hated, but this didn't irrevocably taint their entire runs. Yet Game of Thrones' reputation was essentially destroyed by its final.
I don't know. What would that ending have to do to ruin the show forever?
It wasn't destroyed by the ending. It was destroyed long before that.
Well, I think the ending really solidified it as a pilot.
Yeah. But to anyone with a brain, the show was already unbearable.
The
We're
show is
starting
pretty
to-
By what season?
Well,
It was
Season
starting to
five
slog
was
down by like
really
season
bad.
5, I think.
Yeah,
And
season 5 was really bad.
the finale kind of finished it off, where it's like, oh hey, all that build up, all that sludge you have to go and sift through. Well, here it is, and it's just this mess, this compiled mess of Arya just jumping out of the bushes, killing the White Walker King in an instant. It's like so much build up for that, and then I guess the Lannisters dying under a pile of rubble. And it's like, oh, so that's it. They don't die any other way, just rubble. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because
the show died a long time before that, but this was the season where even the most normie got it, where it went through the thickest skull that something is wrong here.
Yeah.
I think the format for the last season, when they changed the length of the shows and the number of shows there were, it's as if they did not have a plan. And they're like, okay, what do we do? Well, we just film stuff, and we need a fight scene. How long will that take? We don't know. But now we have to cut everything down because we don't have anything planned. And they just say, okay, we're going to do these number of shows this long, as opposed to, oh, we're going to script this out. This will take 42 minutes or whatever it is. We got to plan that out for the next 8 shows or whatever, 8 episodes for the season. So you could tell things were not the same. The format was off, the timing was off, and the scripts came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and honestly, I could believe the Martin's quote that they could have done this for 20 more seasons. Of course, the actors would get a bit old at that point, but they could do it for however long they would want to keep going.
Yeah, I think Martin.
If they had just done it in a proper way,
I think,
and in this slow-paced way that you need to tell these stories and not just rush from weird story event to weird story event. That is always shit, and that is what the West, or Hollywood especially, does not fucking understand, because that is only what absolutely childish idiots do, who always need to jerk off to the next action scene.
If they actually did like a complete telling of the book, it would still be on the air for another decade of all the books, how much detail there is. And if they just scaled down the size and scope of the production, I think it would still be on the. It'd be like watching a BBC long-running murder mystery series or whatever. Any of those long shows that are still on the air, and they change the main detective or whatever. But that's fine because you have so much material to work with, and the people would be like, "Oh, this happens in chapter 17 of book 2. Yeah, this is great," and people would love that. All the characters would shine. They'd come back like 4 years later when their next scene comes up for book 5 later on. That would have been great, and be a lot more money. I think for people making money, not money to use to spend on production, but this would be an ongoing thing, and it would just be a cultural phenomenon. It would just keep going for another 10 years until the books run out. And if the books run out, Martin would say, okay, I'm an old man. I can't think as well. I can't type as well, whatever his reasoning is. He'll say, I'm going to put this in charge of this person because I respect him, and he can write. And that would be logical. That would make sense.
Yeah. And Ego Dream in the chat said, by season 5, the source material was over for them already. Yeah, but if they had
Jesus, really?
taken their time with the source material as it was, with all the characters, because they left out characters' complete existence and plot lines. Had they run out by season 5 already?
It was more like they just discarded book material for season 5 onwards, since like the Dorn plot as opposed to the books is exceptionally different.
Didn't they also write their own as well within the show?
Yeah, most of their stuff was bad. They're pretty much responsible for every single bad pretty much all the final, I think the final 4 episodes, which are the worst in the show.
I'm trying to remember the name of the famous, was he a pirate or was he one of the Greyjoys?
Euron Greyjoy.
Was it Euron? Like, he's so infamous. Like, he has all these magical artifacts. He has this dragon horn and all these things. If you blow it, you die. Like, there's so much hype surrounding him in the books. And does he come on in the show? I don't even know. I haven't watched.
He comes on the show, but he's basically Hot Topic Jack Sparrow, who makes a lot of sex jokes.
Oh, really?
Oh, no.
That's all he does. That's all he does.
Like, because
how do they manage that?
And his ballistas are bloody useless in the end. They just don't. Nobody's using them.
Well, the whole argument was who's going to stop Danny? Who's going to put up a fight? And it was like, he's one of the guys. He can kill dragons, but there's all these curses and all these things around it that you'd have to work with. But that was the point. Like, how is this going to work? Because you can't just have a person with dragons and like, okay, yeah, they win. You have to have some conflict. You have to have some actual viable alternatives. And I don't know. People were thinking, well, they're going to have the child who was chosen or that was promised, I think.
Prince who was promised.
Yeah. So there's all these other things happening. It's like, okay, could it be one of these characters? It could be one of the gods could do something. And you needed like all this speculation around the show. And once that speculation went away, and it just became, oh yeah, no, it's just one of the Stark brothers or sons, and that's it. He's the guy. It's like, oh, okay. So it just sort of fades away without proper build-up. And like I did not even care to watch it past season 4 anyway, because of the lack of build-up. So
it's a good time to stop, honestly.
Objectively a cat. I like that. Not that you need to say objectively. You could just say a cat, but that's fine too. Season 5 absolutely ruined Littlefinger so bad I can't bear to watch it anymore. I think I saw that clip where he gets killed. Was that season 5? I can't remember.
No, that was season 7. Season 5 is where he gives Sansa to the Boltons.
Oh, wow. Oh. Fun time.
Instead of keeping her for himself in the Vale, like he should.
Yeah, I thought that would have... he got the daughter of the woman he loves. That'd be pretty important to him.
Yeah, because he's a frickin' creep.
Exactly, yeah. Out of all the people, I thought he would have survived, but no, he dies a horrible death.
He gets killed by Arya, Maisie Sue Arya, the Maisie Sue Arya.
That's great.
Ace Bush Jumper Arya.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Episode.
But imagine those guys regret making Bran the king because he doesn't have the best story.
One crucial error was not delivering a payoff and resolution to the countless storylines and innumerable conflicts that had drawn us into this vast, expansive world.
True.
Fans were especially dissatisfied because the massive popularity of the show had created huge communities around fan theories and speculation. And even if many of those theories were long shots, some of the basic questions the show had underlined were ignored or given vague answers amounting to, I guess it didn't actually matter. Creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, perhaps eager to move on from the show, diverged from the regular 10-episode format with 2 shorter final seasons.
We could have gone to 11, 12, 13 seasons, but I guess they wanted a life.
But with only 7 episodes in season
Yeah,
7 and 6 episodes in season 8, much of the conflict...
That is a dumb line, George. You know why they did it. You know it.
Yeah, they were lazy and wanted to go Star Wars, and then they realized, oh, they actually suck worse than the sequel trilogy. Like, we're so bad that Kathleen Kennedy was like, we are not hiring these men at all. No, 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 no. We are not hiring these men. Fire them as soon as they say something stupid in public. And they obliged her by going on to a writers' award conference, and then a Twitter thread destroyed their credibility, and then, like, 2 days later, fired.
It's amazing. Writing awards for this crap?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
They got a write. They went to the Austin Film Fest. Then
I can imagine some anti-award, like I don't know, the Golden Raspberry or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
or the Golden Plank.
The Golden Plank. That sounds pretty fun. You just whack them
I don't
over.
know, there's tons of these weird anti-awards. And some are ideologically possessed, but some are actually useful. Had these people any integrity, and they don't, because they're serious. I think Benioff and Weiss are mentally insane. Had they had any integrity, they would have given the project to someone else. Problem is, if it had then recovered and gotten better again, it would also show how bloody incompetent they are.
You've tried to...
That wasn't me.
Ah!
Whoa, what happened?
Oh,
Don't worry, I'll
crap.
find it. I'll find it.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
All right.
or given vague answers amounting to, I guess it didn't actually matter. Creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, perhaps eager to move on from the show, diverged from the regular 10-episode format with 2 shorter final seasons.
We could have gone to 11, 12, 13 seasons, but I guess they wanted a life.
But with only 7 episodes in season 7 and 6 episodes in season 8, much of the conflict that had been slow burning was suddenly in a rush to be resolved. In episode 1 of season 8, everyone has to come together to fight the White Walkers, who are an existential threat to humanity.
We are going to destroy the Night King and his army. We'll do it together.
But by episode 3, they're defeated in a single blow, and we realize that after all this, we learned nothing, really, about them. Moreover, while you'd think, given the limited episode count, the script would be straining to pack in all the drama, the writing did the opposite.
It could at least have done a proper battle.
Oh god, yeah. That battle was ridiculous. I saw clips of that. I was like, that's not how you siege a castle. That's not how you build...
That's not how you defend a castle.
Yeah. I was like, what? How many holes did you dig? 1? You dig 1 hole. Okay.
Where did you dig it?
You fill it with fire. Okay. It's like, all right.
You put your siege weapons in front.
Oh yeah, and
with the ditch behind them.
And you use it after you slaughter or suicide all your horses. It's like what?
Oh, don't worry. So technically they should have all been dead. Daenerys' army gone, but they'll just respawn in the next episode.
Yeah.
Like she has some daily ability where she can just summon 20,000 Dothraki.
Yeah.
Just it fills up. She clicks on her special ability from her talent tree, and then it just fills up back to 20,000 or whatever.
It's probably
she has.
a daily gotcha for free. You just press the button.
It's just a daily respawn.
Yeah.
For her army.
Iron bank tokens.
No, it's just people respawn.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right.
It's so bad.
Number of words per minute for each episode. Look at the last episode.
That is interesting. I've never seen this graph, but this is interesting.
Yeah, funny.
They have a very strange view of dialogue. Essentially, they think that the less dialogue there is in an episode, the better written it is, because they just want to show off the actors for Emmy Awards.
Huh.
That is dumb.
It is.
They're the only people in the world talking is as much part of acting as acting without talking.
Mm-hmm. They don't think that, though.
They're retarded. Why do all these people get jobs in this bloody town? Throw them out. Do you have no standards?
I don't mind it.
Do you have no ambitions of your own, Hollywood?
I don't mind when they're adapting something. They have to, change language, or maybe the actor doesn't like a line. They want to say it a different way. I can understand that, but I don't think George R.R. the way he wrote was like, okay, I'm going to use less words.
Maybe all these mediocre people in Hollywood know deep down that they are mediocre, and therefore they lower the standards so much and just vote each other up so that the actually competent people can't make it anymore, because then everybody could compare them to the competent people. So it's similar to politics, where we are often ruled by the incompetent, because the even though they're much less intelligent than competent people, that does not prevent them from taking power and manipulating people. Because to play the numbers game, someone with an IQ of 140 can easily be manipulated and outmaneuvered by someone with an IQ of 95, because intelligence has nothing to do with that. Also, manipulation is all about setting up stories, false narratives, pulling on emotional strings, and all of that. What you know about quantum physics doesn't matter.
Also helps when your daddy is rich and he's friends with the network head. Literally, that's probably what happened.
Yeah, we call that vitamin B. You would probably call it
nepotism. Since Richard Plepler and David Benioff's dad, what's his face, are both like good buddies, and his dad is the head of Goldman Sachs.
Oh, wonderful. But in oh, look, anti-Semitism. That's why they didn't want to give him Star Wars. No, wait, they gave it to J.J. Abrams. That doesn't make sense. I'm confused now. No, but for you it would be vitamin R for relationship. It's all about nepotism. Is all about relationships.
Okay. That's good.
But it's not just
It included less dialogue per minute of screen time and didn't really deal with a lot of the more complicated side plots or characters. The result was a strangely bloated waste of the little time the season did have to wrap up its story threads. Many viewers trace these weaknesses to the show passing the plots of George R.R. Martin's source novels. The Change.org petition asking
No, there was just nothing left. They just ran right through the books, and there was nothing left to work with.
And as I said, don't give me this crap. You cheered when Arya had killed the Ice King. I just call him the Ice King. I forgot. See, I forgot everything about Game of Thrones. So I'm just using stupid words.
We remember the ideas. We can't remember the words very well. So here's the Giga Chat.
Frostwraith. Yeah. Frostwraith.
Whisp, you ask how anyone gets jobs in that town, according to Kevin Smith, back when he had integrity and, God forbid, some actual talent. One of the producers of 1989 Batman, John Peters, was Barbara Streisand's hairdresser. In Hollywood, you fall upwards.
Oh, this is the polar bear guy. Have any of you heard this story?
Oh?
When Superman Returns, the thing that our Kevin Smith was originally going to help direct, the guy said, I don't want him to wear that faggoty costume. That was one thing that was said. Then I want him to fight robot spider and a giant polar bear.
Oh, okay. That was that lecture he gave 20 years ago, whatever it was.
Okay. That would have been an interesting Nicolas Cage movie.
Well, that's where we got the Wild West movie. That's where we got the gigantic mechanical spider that they had to fight. Yeah.
The leading Drauge. Yeah, Loki, you're right. The leading Drauge.
All right, 6 minutes. We're doing well.
HBO to remake season 8 put it in pretty harsh terms. David Benioff and D.B. Weiss have proven themselves to be woefully incompetent writers when they have no source material, i.e. the books, to fall back on. Another way the show went astray was due to its abandoning the no plot armor approach that contributed to its rise.
Anyone can be killed.
Game of Thrones was known not just for its violence, but also for the fact that no one was immune to that violence. Audiences loved being upset by the terrible shock of the Red Wedding, Ned's beheading, or the Mountain and the Viper, and they loved the show that dared to upset
Not
them
sure I
like that.
loved
But
it.
in the final seasons, almost none of the central characters die up to the very end, even in scenes where it's truly straining believability that more main characters aren't getting killed. A surprising majority of the
Yes.
characters we'd been led to care about the most even make it out with relatively happy endings in the finale.
Yeah, and with Arya, I don't even understand. Oh god, not that bitch. Give me the small dumb bitch. Okay, the small smug bitch. Okay. Arya, I didn't even understand her plot by the end. What even happened in the God's temple?
Yeah.
Like she was her face was taken off and put on one of the columns with the 1,000 faces. Like, who is this girl even? There's no Arya anymore by that, because it wasn't shown that was just a nightmare.
Yeah, so the idea was that she was
She's
lying.
dead. This isn't Arya.
She was lying. She either was, in fact, lying to that church that taught her all she knew, or this is literally someone else. Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, this can't. So from what we've been shown visually, this can't be Arya. Arya is dead, and anyone who would take the face of Arya wouldn't follow through with Arya's family revenge bullshit plot, or care about the Ice King. It's just a face to use to disguise yourself for whatever whatever god that was. This is bullshit. This isn't Arya. Who is this? Why is this?
Alrighty.
But hey, they probably just forgot.
Kind of forgot about good writing.
Happy endings in the finale. It's a symptom of how, in a larger way, the show gradually began to pander to fans, only to actually turn audiences off.
No, it didn't pander to
because
fans.
on a deeper level,
No, you
pandering
bloody
doesn't
bint.
give fans.
You retarded bloody bint. It didn't pander to fans. If it had pandered to fans, it would have kept going on high quality as it started. In regards to writing, not doing this bullshit. Not having weird Mary Sue moments with super plot armor where random people stay alive, random people die, and we get the fight between the Hound and the Mountain, and it's just crap. We wouldn't have gotten bullshit. We wouldn't have gotten bullshit conclusions even. We would have kept getting the good stuff. And this wasn't the good stuff. This is not pandering to fans. At the closest, and that's what we see in other works nowadays, is pandering to Fujoshi, the stupid, insane, usually feminist girls that are obsessed with shipping, and usually shipping same-sex people. But that's thankfully not what happened in Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was just bad.
Yeah, it was empty. It was just last season.
And I believe that is the reason why Kathleen Kennedy didn't hire these guys after all, because she couldn't trust them with the feminist SJW agenda. Because they just do random shit. They destroy everything.
Yeah, they're just bad across the board.
Yes. They have no conviction. They have no ideology. They just destroy everything. And therefore, they're not good agents for social justice. You can throw them at random things, but they must not be thrown at things that are important to social justice.
That's what they really want. All these creative missteps revealed a failure to understand why and what about the show's storytelling was so loved. By not ending the show with the vast, unpredictable complexity that had once defined it, Game of Thrones led us to wonder if we'd misread its original identity or given it too much credit.
What? Are you in
What does that mean?
Whoa, what?
Punishing female rage. Are you dumb?
What is what is she? How? the whole show, everyone dies in an instant or gets punished.
Her whole question setup there just now sounded like gaslighting. The confusing bullshit about, I have just misinterpreted the original stuff from Game of Thrones. Like, are you bloody dumb? The original stuff from Game of Thrones was the original Game of Thrones. And then it turned to shit because of shitty people writing it. Get a fucking brain!
I don't know what they mean by punishing female rage. Almost all the characters get their comeuppance in some fashion. The problem is how. Not that
These are female narcissists. They don't care about other characters. They only care about the women. They don't see anyone but the women.
I know. It's always with this show. It's always about the women. I know that.
Nothing bad must happen to a woman. Only good things must happen to women, and women can only do good things. Women are not allowed to do objectively bad things, like Daenerys genociding King's Landing. Whatever Cersei does to her children, that's okay, because she's just a loving mother, you know.
Yeah, Cersei, she gets her comeuppance, then she becomes the queen, and then she freaking crushes all her enemies. Like, oh yeah, she's great. She's a great queen. She's fantastic. It's like, no, she's going to lose.
It's not enough. Sorry, we need more.
She could blow up the Vatican of their world and yet suffer no consequences.
Well, because she's a woman.
Woman moment.
And everything she does is right, even if it's destroying her country. It's just not as direct. You just must not do it as directly as Daenerys. Okay. Daenerys did it too directly. If she had just made bad policy decisions, they would have excused it. Blame someone else. Oops. That's the difference.
Patriarchy.
As a show that straddled two eras, Game of Thrones went from feeling edgy and timely, as it gave us powerful women taking the center stage, to suddenly behind the times, when it didn't follow through with truly empowering its female characters, let alone...
Wait, what?
What the fuck are you talking? What the...
characters.
Stop it. Stop.
Wait, hold on. Sorry.
What the fuck are you talking about? Two eras? Falling behind the times? What the fucking times? Are you defining some certain point in history where suddenly feminism is even bigger than it ever was?
I want to know which females were not empowered in Game of Thrones.
And what the fuck are you talking about? This is a story that happens in a medieval fantasy world. It does not need to change according to your stupid, retarded, narcissistic, psychopathic, unempathetic, projecting and gaslighting ideology. And all that I've just listed is what you two people, you two stupid women are. You are psychologically abusive assholes.
Could also be that kind of like, it seemed as though like 2015 was the era where like really woke stuff started coming in, and Game of Thrones was popular despite the fact that it was quote unquote problematic. I guess that could be part of it.
All right, here's Giga Chat again. Jesus Christ, female rage women like these are probably in the military. They'll be like, excuse me, Your Honor, the war crime jury. Some people drop white phosphorus onto civilians to cope. What? That was a whole paragraph of us just shaking our heads. I'm not even sure what to say to this video. At this point, at least.
Behind the time.
What is she talking about?
It's me.
Game of Thrones was a show that allowed its women to express righteous anger.
The next time you raise a hand to me will be the last time you have hands.
Yet its ending rebukes and punishes women for their anger.
No.
No, that happens to everyone.
Bad writing. Everyone gets their comeuppance. It doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. It's a bad way of comeuppance because people sometimes just die, and you're like, okay. Or sometimes they don't die. Sometimes they're like, how did this person survive? Like, what the hell? How did Arya survive? Why did a whole building collapse on the Lannisters? And just like, oh, okay, I guess that's it. Oh. It's how
women can't be mad at it, I guess.
I don't
they
get
get
it.
punished for it. Like, what?
Once you started butchering the town or the city, it's like, okay, yeah, everyone knows she has to go. Like, this is. Can you imagine John doesn't kill her? John's like, oh yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's good.
I understand. You're angry. It's okay.
That would be a horrible ending if she just survives. You're like, oh, okay.
Without Snickers, you're not yourself. Just says that to her.
Oh.
This was an ad all along.
Yeah, she needs
and partner with Starbucks.
What's her name? Who likes the lemon tarts? It was one of the Stark sisters.
Sansa.
She doesn't get her lemon tarts. You know, she's gonna slaughter some people tomorrow. It's like okay.
She knew it was a Snickers.
Yeah, she gave her a Snickers. She's okay. You have a Snickers, everyone dies.
Come on, why is the woman not allowed to be angry?
I don't get it. This is strange. And she has a lot of furious moments. She goes nuts, like plenty of times throughout the series. Pretty common.
It's not enough. It's not enough. Gotta keep going.
Yeah.
The writers did hint at a potential dark side of Daenerys.
And I will take what is mine. With fire and blood, I will take it.
We saw glimpses of her father, the Mad King, in her. But with every ruthless or violent decision she made, there was always justice, a cause and effect, and people who deserved it.
Not with. Not with. What was his name? Varys?
Oh God.
Not with Varys. I think she
That was just so ham-fisted.
I think she's talking
so fucking ham-fisted.
I think she's talking pre-season 8.
She showed Varys' execution.
Yeah, Varys was one of those others.
Stalking, yeah.
It was Varys and the Spider. These guys have been around for a while. They know what they're doing. They understand politics, and they just get killed.
Yeah. Also, I forgot which faction that was of that army she had in front of her, and the father and son were killed.
The Tarleys.
Yeah, the Tullys, yes.
Oh, they give up. Yeah, they surrender, and then they get killed.
Oh. She refused. Well, they refused to surrender to her.
Oh.
They say no, we're not going to surrender to. And like she says, like you can surrender or die, but I'm willing to let you live.
No, they wanted to bend. She wanted them to bend the knee, like this stupid meme shit. It has just the bend the knee had just become a meme. And it was becoming silly.
What season was that? Was that like 6 or 5 or what?
7? It was 7.
7. 7 was already absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
I think, like, going back to the fan pander, I think they're kind of referring to the Battle of the Bastards, where that's extremely fan pandering.
Oh.
And through, like, the Starks win, Cersei wins, and, like, a lot of people saying, like, this is amazing. It's like, no, it's pretty bad, actually.
Moreover, she constantly strove to protect the innocent, not just in lip service, but with concrete actions. Unlike Cersei, she selflessly paused her ambitions to devote her much-needed forces to fighting the White Walkers. And she
wow, it's like they're two different characters, and they have different ways of doing things.
What much needed where? She had no lands in Westeros.
This is what you do with an epic when you have multiple kingdoms and leaders and kings and queens, and this king is divine, and this person is evil, and this one has an iron whip, and what? It's like, yeah, you do all these things, and you show the contrast and how their subjects react, and how loyal they are, and why they're loyal. You do that with your fantasy stories. This is fine.
And the thing is also, as far as I remember, she didn't have any lands to protect. She could go anywhere.
Yeah, she was traveling.
And I have a question. About the Unsullied, the black people who grew up in the bloody desert. How are they dealing with the icy cold of the north that is even sometimes too much for us white maggots, as they call us? Seriously. When in 2015 and we got this flood of alleged refugees here, of which some actually were refugees, but most of them weren't. People, I had acquaintances in Portugal where they arrived on the airport. Sub-Saharan Africans arrived on the airport. You've ever been in one of these airport buses that drive you to and from the plane to the airport? And that's in the summer, and it's scalding hot inside, like you think you're melting. There was summer in those buses where it felt like scalding inside, and the sub-Saharan Africans, they were wearing winter jackets, sometimes 2 of them, anoraks. It was cold to them in the summer in Portugal. And these people wanted to go to places like Germany, Sweden, Finland even. And they're already cold in the summer of Spain.
See, these are great logistical questions, which would have been fantastic to see
So
her
my question
deal
is,
with.
Yeah, that's why my question is, why are these sub-Saharan Africans completely fine running through the icy cold of the north? Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, there's these super hardened warriors. They don't kind of cold. Not constantly. Maybe for a short time at night, where they sleep through it, but not day and night without end, without any time to ever warm up. They're not used to that. Just like we are not used to the constant heat where we feel like dying. My Finnish friends, one of them made a vacation in Turkey a couple times. That was too much for him. He didn't understand how these people could walk around covered in, like, especially the women covered in all these clothes. He's an Iceman from Finland. Like, these things are relevant. But Benioff and Weiss don't care about that kind of stuff. This is something that in this kind of the original 4 seasons of Game of Thrones, I would see addressed somehow.
Yeah, they do.
We would see the Unsullied freeze and suffer in the north because they are dealing with a climate they have never seen, and that is completely the absolute opposite of where they thrive.
They do bring up the farming season in the summer being long, and they're going into a very long winter. So there's all these ideas of saving up food and battering down the hatches so that you preserve your life as you go through. Was it like 6 or 7 years of winter, whatever the hell it was going to be? So
that's like,
it's crazy.
Like 9
like
years.
9, yeah, it's this crazy long period of no growth or no crops. So these are real things to consider when you're trying to run a kingdom. So, and uniting them when winter is approaching, as they keep saying, it's like, oh yeah, how are you going to do this? How is this going to work? They don't really go into that at all at the end. So, anyway.
Explicitly says she won't destroy King's Landing.
I am not here to be Queen of the Ashes.
Heeding the advice of her rational and balanced advisor, Tyrion.
But you're not here to be Queen of the Ashes.
Despite all this, the show ends with her deciding to senselessly mass murder the innocent men, women, and children.
Well, that's an interesting point. In the last season especially, like 7 or already, it's just always repeating lines. Like the McQueen, bent the knee, as well as this example. It's just completely repetitive if you think about it. This is how bad the writing. Oh God.
Yeah.
Wow.
In King's Landing. It's a plot turn that could have made sense if written well. There were always issues with her conqueror's belief that the throne was hers due to her Targaryen blood, and the white savior imagery of her freeing slaves who just happened to all spontaneously serve her.
Of course.
Misa!
Look how white that.
Wait, so is it good or bad now that she's caring for the people?
Well, clearly because the slaves are black or not as white as she is, she's a white savior.
Yeah.
Therefore,
yeah. So okay. We stop saving the black people from slavery. Okay. You save yourself from slavery in the future. Like fuck. So we're gonna be the uncaring people, and then you're gonna complain that we're not saving the black people.
I'm trying.
What is it now? What is it?
Then what?
You want more handouts or not?
I'm trying to remember the trope, white savior, because we have that one in like the stories of, what was that movie about that woman who was growing up in the 40s or 50s in America, and she was trying to write a story or interview her maid, who's a black woman, and she was sorry?
The Help?
Was it The Help? I can't recall the title, but she's writing a book about this woman who's been around, and she cooks and she cleans and whatever. And she's considered a white savior because the black woman is considered the there's another trope. It's like the colored wise man or the.
You mean the noble savage?
Wise black or the magical Negro.
The magical Negro. There you go. And he's always the guy who has the great idea or wisdom that you should follow. And it's like, okay, is this applicable to every genre? It's like a person literally freeing slaves, or a person writing a book about a black woman's family. Like, what is this? How does this trope work anymore? I'm not sure I remember.
It always comes out the way that we look bad, and this is the joke.
But is it?
Either
good?
we look away, and then we are uncaring oppressors,
right?
Or we help them, and then we're white saviors, which is also bad somehow.
It's like what?
So they cry for, give us more government handouts, give us reparations, and if we did, they'd call us white saviors.
Yeah, so you can't help these people, but if you leave them alone, you're oppressing them.
It's a catch-22.
Why don't just white people kill them?
To which I say, then if that's the case, if it's catch-22, then just do the thing that costs us the least.
Yeah.
If we can't win this anyway, then fuck off. Fuck off. No more handouts.
Segregation.
You don't care for your children anyway,
Yeah.
Black America. You don't care for your children anyway. It won't get any better or worse if we look away.
Yeah, and if Daenerys was black, it'd be okay. Everything's great. Fantastic story. All her rage is justified. It's like, okay, sure.
10 out of 10. Great story. Can I have my money back, please?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
What money?
It is old Cascadi, Khaleesi. It means mother.
Moreover, there are motivations pushing Dany to the emotional brink, like the loss of 2 of her dragon children, being spurned by her lover Jon Snow after finding out he's her nephew, and Cersei's murder of...
When did Jon Snow spurn her?
He didn't kiss her.
That's spurning her?
Did they have sex?
Apparently, it already had sex.
Yeah.
But it was found out, you're my auntie. It's like, he's
they didn't know at the time.
Yeah, that's kind of...
He's weirded out later.
Yeah, you got to deal with that. It's not spurning her. It's just like, we got to talk about this. We got to figure this out.
Then he keeps mumbling, "You're my queen.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't want it, my queen.
Don't want to be king. Just want
my queen."
My Discord's been acting up, so the call might bug out when I join back into the watch together.
Okay, can you see it?
Yeah, I'm joining back right now.
All right, we're going to press play, and hopefully you're going to be with us. Okay.
her right hand and friend, Missandei. Yet, whatever's happening in Dany's head and feelings as she becomes increasingly isolated isn't really articulated
can't you people
or
reproduce
shared with
sounds?
us.
Wait. What is this argument? It's not articulated? Okay, we have the visual medium of the TV or the screen for a reason. So we have actors show their faces. And you can tell she's not happy about the death of her friend, okay? We don't need every line of thought to cross our ears. It's fine.
It's not the book.
No, look, this is how superficial these women are. They're so dumb and unempathetic. They need everything spelled out for them.
They see a
they
person...
don't have, since they don't have any empathy, it doesn't work just seeing the emotion played out. They need to be told what emotion is going on.
When you see your friend on a rampart being decapitated, you don't go, "Oh no, my friend has been decapitated. I am so sad and angry. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might just
but that's the writing they want.
Yeah, it's
and I'm telling you at that point. After I've how do I say this? Because I didn't just look and read into these topics. The autism topic, for one, is one I live through, and also exchange with others about. What baffled me is that 20, 30 years ago, the psychologists thought that we autists don't have any emotions because we
normally don't show much of them. Only later in life we develop that out to get that out of the shell. The thing is, we have a very rich emotional life, and we have actual empathy. The joke is that it is these narcissists that do not have any empathy. And that is the core symptom of narcissism. They do not understand the emotions of other people, and they don't care. They get overwhelmed sometimes, but they don't really understand what's going on. Yet they pose as the great empathetic people because they think that their weird emotions are empathy somehow, when they aren't. They think they are empathetic, but they are not. Well, we artists were told that we don't have that for decades when, we're actually very normal in that regard. We just express it differently. That was so baffling a realization to me, that we're dealing with people who pretend to care, but who are neurologically speaking unable to care. They don't know, and they don't know that they can't.
Well, in this case, what they're saying on the screen is that they want more exposition on the emotional state of one of the main characters. You're like, okay, why? She just lost her friend and companion. She's angry. She's going to fight these people anyway. What exactly is the what's the analysis you need? Like, what is the point? Like, you can do it. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just like, what do you need to do? Do you need like a whole chapter dedicated to introspection, where she's like going through the motions of what should I have done better?
From what I've heard before, where they want, and in other videos where they said, yeah, we need at least 10 minutes per character, per female character to do things, like to see a normal day, like watering the plants, brushing her teeth, all of that shit.
You know,
because these women are just obsessed with seeing women in the spotlight, because then they can imagine themselves being in that spotlight. That's what they want.
If it's part of the book and George actually wrote the scene with whatever chapter that she reminisces about Melisandre or whatever her name is, and
that's not in the books. This is not at all in the books.
Oh, really? Okay, then yeah, forget it.
You could just simply, I think we could do an experiment and just tell a narcissistic, especially narcissistic woman, that the woman on screen is a super important woman, and she's famous and she has lots of power and all of that shit, and then show her a 10-minute clip and she's just doing the most normal mundane things, and she would love that woman. And we tell another narcissistic woman, we'll show her the same clip, but we'll tell her something completely different, that she's not important, that she's just a wretch or something. And I want to do this a little bit more sophisticated, bit more better setup, and I want to see how these narcissistic women then react, what their conclusions will be, and how much they want to identify with the character when the videos are the exact same thing and it is completely mundane, benign stuff that has no impact whatsoever.
I'm trying to think of other characters that when they lose a loved one, like in the Children of Dune, I think, when Muad'Dib loses Shani and he loses his sight, and he just, because that was the love of his life and it meant so much to him, and now that she's gone, he can't see anymore. Like, there's lots of things that they could do with the character to say, okay, her entire disposition changed as the death of her friend was seen from afar, and all throughout the rest of the book, she's just like hard as nails and completely emotionless. There's lots of ways to do this without having this whole chapter dedicated to analyzing her feelings. Like, it's like, okay, let's put that into action. Let's see her deal with that as the story goes, as the plot continues. Don't slow it down because women want to feel this is the argument you feel from women, or you hear from women a lot, that, oh, there's not enough talk about the women, as you said. There has to be 10 minutes of this or that. Like we're reading or watching a romance novel or a Hallmark movie. It's like, oh, it's all about the feelings. It's like, yeah, but not in this context. It's war. She's a leader. She has stuff to do. She can't just stop every time she loses a friend.
Yeah, show us Daenerys for 10 minutes doing her actual job and sitting at a table and reading and signing decrees.
And she breaks down because she lost her friend. It takes her 30 seconds. Like, give me something like that if you really want to be fancy. And you know why she's crying. Everyone knows why she's crying. You don't need words. She tips over her glass of wine. She doesn't give a shit. She just keeps walking. Like, stuff like that. There's lots of things you can do.
Yeah, because most things about being a leader is absolutely boring. Because what you essentially are is a glorified manager.
That's why Dance with Dragons is often touted as people's least favorite book, because it's mostly just Jon and Daenerys doing boring things and leadership positions. Very little in the way of intrigue or action going on.
Yeah, project
like in Wheel of Time when Elaine is pregnant.
Yeah, that whole bit. It is so horribly stretched out over. I'm just like, what? Jordan, please cut most of Crossroads of Twilight and most of Winter's Heart out, please.
I am fine. I am fine with the catch up where all these different groups of the protagonist groups of random other groups in the world catch up to this finale in Winter's Heart. That's okay. I think you can do that once. Like Jordan pulled off a few stunts like that where, okay, this is something you can do once in your book series, and that should maybe just only be done once in all of writing of the world. But yeah, certain parts are more dreary than others.
Like Perrin going on supply runs.
Not a lot going on.
Like Perrin going on a supply run for most of the book.
Maybe, but sometimes you get the shit, this gather 10 bear pelts. Okay, that's a stupid quest, but okay.
Oh jeez. All right.
But yeah, not necessarily the stuff you want to do at the end of your story. It's more like, isn't that something for the beginning? That's another topic. Back to this crap here.
The dialogue of these final episodes leaves us to basically infer why Daenerys is turning to the dark, mainly through a series of facial expressions and a few post-show explanations from the creators.
It's in that moment on the walls of King's Landing when she's looking at that symbol of everything that was taken from her when she makes the decision.
She's never seen the place.
To make this personal.
As the show's most beloved, charismatic character morphed into a one-dimensional, unrelatable villain.
No. Daenerys was not the most beloved character.
Wait. She was riding on her dragon and looked at a wall, and she goes, "I'm gonna kill everyone now." It's like, what?
Most beloved. That's most beloved, maybe by you narcissistic feminists who only want to see themselves as Mary Sue queens and princesses, because that's what Daenerys is. She's a pampered little bitch. There are way more interesting and beloved characters in the show, and so many of them. Varys is a very beloved character. Tyrion is a very beloved character.
George R. R. Martin's favorite character.
Tywin Lannister. Holy hell. Amazing. Bloody and amazingly written. The scene where he's in the tent. Where was it after the battle or before the battle against... not Robert. Stark. Yeah, against the Starks.
Stark, yeah.
And he's in the tent, and he's giving Tyrion a speech where it seeps through that he does have some respect for Tyrion deep down. And while he does that, he is gutting a stag that he just shot, that he had hunted. The stag, the symbol of the Baratheons. That is a scene, and he carries it, and it is full with symbolism. That is not just in your face explained, like, yes, while I am talking with you, Tyrion, my son, I am also gutting the symbol of our blood enemy, the Baratheons, the stag. No, it's just visually done. It's just in the background, something you can notice if you are perceptive and can put these little pieces together. And that's a great moment when you notice. And everything else about Tywin is just great. It's just great character. Fun to watch.
Amazing. Yeah, he's very, very, very engaging.
Yeah, because he does intelligent things. He plans things out. He has the wisdom of a lifetime. For all his flaws, he has the wisdom of a lifetime and knows the game of politics. Daenerys is just a stupid bint who's thrown around by destiny. She has no... when did she even start thinking? Like when she had her... Even before she had her dragons, there was nothing. When she finally had her dragons, she was still a stupid idiot. The whole plot around the Warlock Tower. Like, she's an idiot. Daenerys Targaryen in the show is an idiot. She is not fit to lead anything. If she did not have her entourage of advisors, of actual people with wisdom or with some brains and with some guts, she would have just starved in the desert, as she should have.
Okay, halfway done. Let's keep going.
The series pathologized her rage and turned her into a mad woman consumed by hysterical anger, which makes her a violent danger to society.
Children, little children, burn!
She even becomes an extreme form of the crazy ex-girlfriend to Jon Snow, who decides she's such a problem, he has to kill her. And so, the show that had been known for centering powerful, layered female characters ended by signaling that progress and peace would come through naming a bland, emotionally distant man, Bran Stark, to rule.
So, is there a problem with having Bran on the throne because he's emotionally distant? And wise and calm, and he's freaking vision of the future? Like, he could see things happen before they happen? Wouldn't that be nice to have a leader who knows what's going to happen so they can avoid danger?
Problem is he never uses that ability for anything useful.
That's true. He has the capability, he just doesn't actually use it properly.
Just does it via when the plot demands it. It's really stupid. Really, really frustrating.
He'd be a good advisor. He'd be a good librarian, or just a person to have around. But there are better and worse options than Bran, that's for sure. Porcelain is the fourth. People like Tyrion way more than Daenerys. I love Tyrion. In fact, he was so that Redditors tried to talk like him because they think it made them sound more smart. Also, people love practically everyone else more than Daenerys. People tended, I think they liked, was it Arya the most? She was the most interesting to pay attention.
Liked Arya the best.
Daenerys was not really forgotten, but just sort of like out of the picture for most of the story. And it was like, oh yeah, she's off doing whatever over there. It's nice, she's freeing the slaves or whatever. It's like, yeah, whatever. Over here, we're worried about who's going to marry the king. What's Joffrey going to do? All these kinds of wonderful political stuff like that is cool. That's the stuff we care about, the politics of who's in charge and who's really in control of everything. That's awesome stuff. So I don't know like why Daenerys is so liked. I think her story is interesting, but it's not like the most compelling story of all the books.
Yeah, I'd agree.
He is the keeper of all our stories. Who better to lead us into the future?
To be fair, the writing tries to position Bran as the figurehead for a more collective or representative government than the previous autocracy. And Bran isn't your typical white guy boss. As someone who's disabled, has experienced a lot of loss, and also has become the three-eyed raven. But this doesn't change the fact that the strongest female leaders on the show were demonized and punished for their anger. Always angry.
You bloody bit! She's a psychopath!
Yes,
she's a psychopath! She is pure evil! And you just think, oh, she's a woman! Yeah, she's a woman psychopath. Doesn't matter. Psychopaths are evil, regardless of sex. It's gender justice. Okay, men and women psychopaths are equally evil. They go about their evilness a bit different. The females are a little bit more psychologically, emotionally manipulative evil and kill you with intrigue, like Cersei does. While male psychopaths just tend to stab things. Cersei deserves everything and more that happens to her.
Yeah, she got
Like bloody hell,
off very
her
light.
children are the result of incest.
Or also, basically, she doesn't even really love her children as children. She just loves them as extensions of herself, and she thinks that Joffrey is the bestest king ever.
Which is what a psychopath, because all psychopaths are narcissists. Not all narcissists are psychopaths, but all psychopaths are narcissists. What all narcissists do, they do not love their children. They cannot love. A psychopath especially not.
Yeah, just look at what she does to Marjorie Tyrell. That was pretty crazy. And she was all set to, become the next queen.
Yes, because Marjorie is a competitor, and competitors need to be destroyed.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was
psychopaths win through elbow grease. Not elbow grease. Just through elbowing to the top. And whoever gets left on the ground, whoever dies, whoever gets trampled over, well, that's behind me. That's how the psychopath thinks. That's behind me. Oh, I genocided 10,000 people. Oh, that's behind me.
Okay.
Angry Cersei is set up as the other, second most threatening villain, viewed as selfish, irrational, and plain wicked by the other characters.
I choose violence.
Well, is she or is
And
she
in
not?
the end, Cersei gets no kind of catharsis or even illuminating dramatic.
She's evil.
Why should she?
She's the
what
villain.
Should she get catharsis from?
What do you
the fuck
want?
Are you
She wants like a
talking about?
revelation for the brick smash her head in open. Like, what do you want?
She wanted to let the people of King's Landing starve if necessary. She didn't care about the people.
Now, I would have liked something.
The Daenerys then fried them. That's another story, but bloody hell.
If you're going to have the ending of a character just be of rocks on your head, at least build up to that or do something with it, not just have it happen. So, yeah, I would like...
satisfying.
Yeah, work with the character to the point where it's like, okay, it's time to die, but you can't just like, all right, yeah, it's just going to go away.
It's satisfying where they're scared of dying and it's painful. There are moments in cinema where falling rocks have made it for a good death, but this was just lame.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, at one hand, it's like she deserves to lose because she was losing in the fight, and yeah, she's gonna get killed eventually. We know that. We just don't know how. It's the how that I'm always concerned with, not the fact that someone lives or dies.
A character like her, after the things she did, what would befit her in this world, in these kinds of stories, would be to be slowly killed by dripping, what was it called? The green fire stuff?
Oh, really?
Wildfire. The fire.
Balefire?
Bloodfire? Wildfire.
Wildfire. Yeah, slowly dripping the wildfire liquid onto her until she's very, very slowly dead. That is what it would have, what they would do in this kind of world, with these kind of rules.
All right,
I could imagine Martin writing that.
Here's the Guga Chad. I'm not sure what a Guga Chad is, but thank you.
Chad.
You murdered children. Yeah, but I was angry. Jesus Christ, could these people be any more childish? Also, did you like that little side swipe? He's not like other male bosses. He experienced loss. Also, female leaders have caused more wars per capita. Oh, okay. I'd have to check.
In real life?
I would have to check famous female queens and see what the stats are.
Was the Maria Theresa lady who led the war against Frederick of Prussia. Elizabeth led quite a few wars against the Spanish. Bloody Mary hated the Protestants. There was a queen in Africa. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she was ousted by her brother, so she decided to do a really, really massive war against her enemies.
Yeah, I think I heard of that. And
well,
you don't fight a war. You don't fight a war against the Prussians. That's dumb.
Yeah, all this issue about women dying improperly or being angry. It's like it's fine. It's how it's done, not the fact that they live or die. that's the problem with these stories. It's not that, oh, she's not going to get her comeuppance. Oh, she was angry, therefore she must die. It's like, no. The evil...
She's a female character, therefore she needs catharsis. Doesn't matter how evil she is.
That's a weird thing to say.
Absolutely evil. Yeah, and someone in the chat said it before. It's strange how they only focus on the female characters. Whatever happens to the male characters doesn't matter. And I only mention Bran because he gets to be king in the end.
When Cersei like murders all of her enemies in King's Landing, is that not cathartic to her when she's sipping the wine and everyone's blowing up and dying?
No, no, it can't be because she's a psychopath. There is no catharsis to her. There's only there's sadistic pleasure, but no catharsis.
How much emotional outburst does she need for this suffering of hers to be satiated? Like, what's the balance?
It never happens. It never happens for a psychopath.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
It does not happen.
She wants to kill all of her enemies, every single one. That's it. She's a horrible person. We get it. Oh no, she has to feel more. It's like, okay.
Moment. She just has to bitterly swallow her rage, passively crying on a balcony before dying in defeat.
Passively crying?
What do you want her to do? Like pick up a sword? Like what's like? I would like to see something aside from nothing, but this is what happened at the ending.
Does she want her to cry out loud? Like,
I don't know. She's already been through the
I think I don't even know what her fix would be because I don't know this person's standards at all based on this video. It's all interpretive nonsense.
Yeah. Is this why it feels dated?
She only wants female characters good. That's all that's on her mind. There's nothing else there. This is female narcissism.
Yeah, I don't know too many villains who have done so much evil. They start bawling or they just start getting emotional at the end of their run. They're pretty hardcore. They're pretty set in their ways, and that's probably why they're lost. They were unable to adapt or be humane enough to figure out what to do to survive. So that's usually the failing of a certain hero's journey where the villain is always fixed in their ways. They're at level 100 and the hero has to grow up from level 1 and then surpass the villain with virtue or whatever they're trying for. It's their inability to adapt. In this case, you just can't fight a frickin' dragon. So she's like, all right, I'm done.
Maybe she should have been giggling.
Yeah, cackling madly with drinking wine. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Oh, this is acceptable.
Oh, jeez.
I'm a necessary evil.
Apologized the anger of people of color too through Grey Worm.
What?
He embraces Dany's massacre as an outlet for revenge.
Why? What?
The two featured black
Revenge
characters
against
on the show,
whom?
Missandei was brutally
What?
murdered or
Cersei.
fridged to motivate a white character
right.
and a male character. While Grey Worm's demands of justice for Dany's killing were left unaddressed.
We need justice. Jon Snow cannot go free. It's not for you to decide.
As one critic wrote, Game of Thrones did not have to kill Missandei in order to give Daenerys a motivation to reclaim her throne or to inspire Grey Worm to fight in her name. Both these characters already do this. It's literally their purpose on this show. Killing the only woman of color on Game of Thrones.
Oh, shut up.
What?
What nonsense is this? We don't want conflict, guys.
All the thousands of background characters in Essos don't count.
Yeah, guys, you can't have any loss in your story, especially Game of Thrones story. You can't kill people off because they're black.
This also shows that she does not see the people of Dawn as people of color after all.
Yeah.
So Hispanics are not people of color after all.
Yeah.
We got the update.
Oh.
Or the Scots.
You're Hispanics. You're white now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not struggling anymore. You're oppressors now.
I don't have the white
twinks
privilege.
gotta be white like the Asians. Like they consider
When
the
does the
Asians.
white privilege start on? Like, when do I get it?
Who has the love boner for this side character black woman? It's like, oh, you didn't have to do that. It's like, you're right. They didn't have to kill off many of the characters in the story. They would have kept doing what they were doing, but you're obviously reading the wrong story or watching the wrong show.
I mean, that's the critics' take. Whatever. I don't see what this has to do with her overall video. Like, what is this?
I don't know.
And how does this contribute to feeling dated? If we killed off a woman of color?
I can't say. I don't know. There's lots of things they didn't have to do in this show. It's like saying, yeah, George, you have to write compelling backstories or love feuds or magic. You have to do all that stuff. No, you're fine. Just have a bunch of people running around vying for power without killing each other. Yeah, that'll be great.
And what this American idiot doesn't understand is that Game of Thrones is a reflection and rehashing of European medieval history.
Was it the War of the
Roses? Because we have all these royal characters. That is one part of it. But you have all these different royal characters and their little stories. They all reflect different parts of European medieval history. The stuff that's going on in the north, I think that is reflective of some stuff in Great Britain going on in a completely different century. Right. And this is just taking all of the most interesting things of European medieval history and royalty and putting them together in one story, giving them different names and all of that, but playing these out against like it's a medieval's all-stars, if you will.
Yeah, they took the character of Henry Tudor, I think, and based that for Daenerys. There's all this inspiration that George used.
Is Cersei Marie Antoinette?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of that in her. She's pretty vindictive, yeah.
Yeah, let them eat cake.
I was thinking Margaret of Anjou. That works too.
Let them eat giant balls of fire. Oh boy.
The Joffrey, the child king, the horrendous psycho child king also exists. I think that was a Spanish guy.
Oh really?
I'm not firm on all the names and all.
Yeah, no. There's all kinds of inspiration.
There's all these little splotches here and there.
So when we talk about secondary characters, even tertiary characters dying, you're like, it's not, it's not a big deal. And if you want to motivate your characters even more, go for it. Have Grey Worm go crazy, killing Jon Snow. He wants to go after Jon Snow. Okay, after the war is over, we're going to kill Jon Snow. He doesn't get what he wants. That's a whole story right there. That's great.
Yeah, and the wildlings, they're the Germanic tribes and the Scandinavian tribes. That kind of works. And I think even more the Germanic ones, if you ask me. Because they don't have all this Viking culture. They're just dealing with the White Walkers and the undead. And they are behind the wall, which can be a reflection of the limes, the giant wall that went through Europe built by the Romans against the Germanic tribes, because the Romans got a bit sick of being raided all the time. So there you've got that part. And with the Unsullied, we can go to the Middle East, we can go to Africa, where the slavers, in that case Muslims, were taking slaves from sub-Saharan Africa that they bought, that were enslaved, hunted and enslaved by other sub-Saharan Africans, who then sold their now enslaved sub-Saharan African cousins from other tribes that they subdued to the Muslims. And the Muslims, why does all this the Arab parts, why don't they have remnant black populations like the US does? Because they did castrate their slaves. They couldn't reproduce. They were eunuchs, like the Unsullied. That's where you get that from. So who should the Unsullied be mad against for revenge? Oh, Missandei was killed. I think that's the least of their problems. Like, yeah, okay, that's a personal thing for Grey Worm here, okay. But at large, the people of Westeros aren't the enemies of the Unsullied. The people of Essos, the slavers, are the enemies of the Unsullied, if anything. And if it played out more like our world, and not the way it does in Essos, then the true enemies of the Unsullied would be the African tribes that took them and enslaved them and sold them. So the Unsullied would then fight against those other black people. That is what would be the logical consequence if you played it out straight and had that element also in, but that element isn't in the show.
All right.
Beautiful.
Let's go.
Just 1 week after killing off the entirety of the Dothraki army is a huge problem for a show that has always struggled with diversity. Before this faceless mass death scene as a preamble to the Battle of Winterfell, the Dothraki, the largest group of POC characters on the show, are portrayed as one-dimensional savages.
A Dothraki wedding without at least 3 deaths is considered a dull affair.
They're mix of several tribal cultures. In this case, Mongols. They're riders of the steppes.
Or massive rapists and
Yes.
murderers.
I like the Mongols.
Yeah.
The Mongols are like some of the biggest mass murderer groups in history.
Yeah, they also built the biggest empire to ever have existed in history.
It lasted a surprisingly long time too, and it was the most peaceful after they like finished with their conquering spree. It was pretty much the most peaceful time that area had seen. Like people could freely go along the Silk Road and not worry about getting robbed or killed.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, it was Genghis Khan's plan. He didn't want his because he could foresee that his descendants might fracture the empire and war over it. That is why he wanted it big enough to give each of his sons a big enough part so that they would not need to war over each other. Sadly, that didn't really work out, but that's another story.
Okay.
Simple strength over all else and rape and murder innocents for fun.
Do you know who Attila the Hun was? He besieged Vienna.
Yeah.
Fucking Vienna, and it needed the Polish cavalry. You know, the winged hussars with the feathers on their backs. It needed them to drive off the Huns. This is you know nothing about history, you know nothing about fantasy, you know nothing about anything. You only care about, oh, look at those brown people, those poor brown people. We need to help them. And okay, now you're a white savior. You racist dumb bitch. I hope nothing crawled out of your legs. Because that poor child will have an emotionally stunted mother.
Okay, let's go.
Disgusting people.
The show's few queer characters in.
Oh boy, we're jumping along, aren't we?
Thanks for going to Dawn, but you forgot one thing. Aren't you otherwise complaining about the patriarchy? But with the Dothraki, it is just, oh, they're just portrayed as these horrible savages. Why are you not talking about the patriarchy of the Dothraki? Because that does sound like your actual bullshit patriarchy, where women have no rights and are just raped when the men want. Like no, it's just people of color, so you don't mention that.
Seems like they don't actually like the show. It's kind of weird that you're listing all these things that these groups are. It's like, yeah, that's what makes them unique and specific. It's like, yeah, this is bad. It's like, okay, that's fine. You may as well be complaining the villains are bad because they kill people. It's like, yeah.
Okay. Matthews in the chat and Master Wolf are correcting me that Attila wasn't at Vienna, that it was just the Ottomans. That is strange because in school, like my history classes might have been flawed, I learned that Attila was at Vienna. If that is wrong, I'm sorry.
The Siege of Vienna is the Ottoman invasion.
All right.
How far west did Attila get?
So
he died in Hungary. That's not that far.
Yeah, but like the Siege of Vienna, like the one that I have is in 1529, or 1,000 years after Attila.
Okay, let's keep going.
Including the characters from Dorne, who were people of color and some of whom were shown to be bisexual, met similarly brutal ends well before the final stages of the show.
No.
The series' ultimate fear and sidelining of the rage of women and minority groups came just as our culture was embracing the opposite idea, that a lot of this kind of anger can be warranted and just. Esquire argues that the show's treatment of women overall...
What? I was sorry, I was reading up on Attila, and apparently he got all the way to France.
What?
He did. That's the Catalonian fields. It was the major battle that at least stopped his conquest.
So apparently the legacy of Game of Thrones is tarnished because of the women in the story, not because of its horrible ending and what they did past season 5.
The treatment of women will... Oh, God. No, it's the bad writing that tarnishes the story, the legacy. God, these people are unbelievable.
is what will tarnish its legacy, saying misogyny is Game of Thrones' original.
Oh my god.
No, I want. Okay. What I want is when we invent a time machine, we will send all these feminists into the past, into all these wonderful, beautiful medieval and older societies. What do you think of that? And they can learn firsthand how wonderful everything was.
So when Cersei blows up part of King's Landing, is that hatred towards women or hatred towards men? Like what's going on there? when Daenerys just blows away entire blocks of King's Landing, is that hatred towards men or hatred towards everyone?
I want to say it's female chauvinism, but it's just narcissism.
This is
really
bizarre. Like when is this a major theme, or even a minor theme in Game of Thrones? Like hatred towards women.
Like, she does not get into like these women did bad things. That's why people hate them. Instead, it's just, oh, it's a woman, we must like her. Oh, it's mean that she gets punished for her bloody murders.
Do they want like some saintess, like Galadriel-like figure who leads an army and everyone's happy with her and she's so nice?
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them what these female characters are and what they do. It doesn't matter to them whether they're saints or devils. They must just get away with everything and be praised and never, ever be criticized.
Mm-hmm.
That is the narcissistic side of it all.
Yeah, like you remember.
There's
when
nothing more to it.
You remember the Captain Marvel scene where she destroys the Dawn's hand?
Yeah, they make excuses for it. And the Sims, like Legal Eagle, make excuses for it.
I'm trying to remember the scene with there was the actress who I think she played a red-haired whore, and for some way, Rose or Ross, yeah. She manages to make her way to Joffrey's bed, and in the next episode, she is impaled on whatever with his crossbow. That's not to say that Joffrey hates women. That's to show that
he's just a sadist.
He's a psychopath. He's a sadist psychopath. That's what the scene is for. And
that's why her mother loves him the most.
And you could argue
so much like her.
And you could argue the whole scene with that character, like she wanted more parts. There was a rumor that she wanted more scenes in the episode, and they didn't have any more to do with her, so they killed her off. I think she was invented. Was she invented for the show, or was it just a minor role in the books?
She was invented. Yeah, she was invented for the show.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay.
She actually replaced an African black woman because the guy who the showrunner. He has a bit of a fetish for brown women.
Okay.
And doesn't, like, literally, it's in every single one of his books that he writes.
Oh, really?
It's really weird.
That's nice.
It's weird. It's really, really freaking weird.
I'm confused now. What are we talking about?
One of the characters in the story replaced another actor, and the character never existed in the books. And as a result, the original actor wasn't given the role because the showrunner...
the showrunners are Benioff and Weiss. They don't write books, do they?
Well,
Benioff has written 5.
Oh my god!
How? He wrote his first book only got written because of the very simple premise of sold the film rights before he published the book. That's how he got it published.
Are these 5 books readable, or are they toilet paper with
Apparently,
random letters on it?
One of them is.
They're long. They're somewhat long. Like, I know, like, he said, like, I'm bad at long form story structure, so I made the book 25th Hour only focus on like one day out of this guy's life.
Yeah, the other one was The City of Thieves, which I think people actually like, but I don't
Kind of
know.
weird stuff. Like, I think there's a scene where he's like, I wanted everybody to look at Molly Minx's ass. And he says ass like 6 times in the course of 4 paragraphs.
Oh, great.
I've read better fetish porn than that.
Yeah, well, check out Goodreads. They're sometimes accurate, a lot of times not, but you might get some good understanding of what he wrote there. Anyway, poor Salinas the Fourth. Guys, I think the misogyny towards Ilse Coach is unacceptable. People hate her purely for existing as a woman in society and know she did nothing. What just happened? She did nothing else to warrant that hatred at all. Okay.
Who?
Ilse, I-L-S-E Koch? K-O-C-H? Koch? Koch.
Ilse, what was that?
Ilse, K-O-C-H.
Last name?
K-O-C-H. Koch.
K-O-C-H. Ilse Koch. Oh God, no. That is not who I think it is.
I don't know who that is.
Is that the Bane of Auschwitz?
What? The Bane
Or is
of
that
Auschwitz.
someone else? I think it is. Ilse Koch was a German war criminal who was an overseer at Nazi concentration camp run by her husband, Commandant Karl Otto Koch. Working at Buchenwald and Majdanek, Koch became infamous for her sadistic, brutal treatment of prisoners. In 1947, she became one of the first prominent Nazis tried by the US military.
Oh.
Yeah, she was that woman that was going around bullying prisoners in the concentration camp, and then at random just shooting them in the head. Like bam!
Yay!
This is your female Joffrey, or this is your Cersei.
Yeah. And
Imagine Cersei in a concentration camp as one of the guards.
It's Cersei, and it makes sense because Cersei just casually hands people to her mad scientist friend to experiment on and dissect and cut out.
Yeah, it's oddly fitting, isn't it?
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Let's keep going. We don't want to talk about the Holocaust anymore. Just get back to fantasy.
You found a very, very scary similarity.
Well,
there.
we just listen to the super chats and the donations as best we can. We're like, oh, that's nice story there. Let's gonna keep going.
Was the Holocaust dated?
Oh, yeah, exactly. The women weren't expressed enough properly in their emotional turmoils.
Oh, yeah.
I bet there are people who would say so.
The show premiered in 2011 during the anti-hero era, when unfiltered realism was the hallmark of prestige TV, and nudity and violence were also selling points for HBO. So realistic drama became an excuse to show lots of sex, female nudity, and gratuitous violence in a more exploitative way that wasn't really justified by the story. As Esquire points out, the nudity on Game of Thrones was...
How was it not justified?
I don't... You go to a whorehouse, let's not take our clothes off. You're going to have sex, let's not take our clothes off. Like, what do you want?
We're at war. Don't kill people. What?
Yeah, what is...
Assassination plots, don't kill people. What are they talking about?
Didn't The Walking Dead also do this?
Okay, so she wants a very, very cleanly washed soap opera.
I think
that
Just give her a medieval soap opera where no one gets hurt. Then she's happy. And with lots of women that can't do anything wrong, and all it's just the men who are idiots and bad. That's what she wants.
I think that what she's referring to is the fact that it was graphic nudity. The fact that like full frontal, like it was like very softcore porn, as well as like the violence was extremely graphic and bloody. even and seemed unnecessary, but that's the best faith interpretation I can come up with. She's just squeamish, that's all.
Wow.
Yeah, there's reasons why even guys who don't like fantasy watch Game of Thrones, and you could say nudity got them in the door, but then they're like, oh wow, this is a really interesting story, because it's not just sex and violence. There's political intrigue and all these other plots running along, and there's cool characters to listen to dialogue that's really good. So there's all kinds of great stuff outside of like the posters. I think that gets you in the movie theater, right? It's that or the trailer nowadays. Good trailer, you go see a movie. Game of Thrones, it's word of mouth. Hey, there's boobs and arrows and broadswords and dragons sometimes, and it's like, oh, cool, I'll watch that. So good.
What kind of pathetic metric is that?
Yeah, it's kind
of
not
the boobs that got me into Game of Thrones or the violence. It's the good writing.
Yeah, well, that's what you stay for. You stay
because
for
other HBO shows, they in the first episode, they all do this. In the first episode, they bring you some completely unnecessary sex scenes, or just that you had a sex scene. And the characters that had that sex scene may never even talk much with each other again, despite having a lot to do with each other later on. It's just that first episode has a sex scene to catch the interest of the fetish audience, which, by the way, includes a lot of normie women, because they are obsessed with sex in the little stupid childish heads. I wanted to watch more Game of Thrones because it was actually well written. All this other shit, don't give a shit about. That just fleshes out the world, that makes it more realistic, more grounded, and more dangerous.
Right. So I would say Game of Thrones is the most popular with nudity. This is on HBO. So
yeah.
Westworld was a big one.
Yeah, people have to pay for this, right? Depending on like your satellite or cable package at the time.
At the time, yeah. So 2011, 2014. Westworld, I think, was a bit after that. But Rome was like, when the hell was Rome? Rome was like
20.
Wasn't it on the History Channel? Or
no,
it was like 2006 ish.
The Rome TV show came out in 2005 to 2006. Yeah, I think you're correct.
Yeah, and my buddy remember telling me about the blood splatter and the boobs and all kinds of gore and what have you. So yeah, this has happened. I think even before that we had shows on HBO that had series that had boobs and gore. So
True Blood.
True Blood. Yeah, there's a good one. Yeah. What was that detective show? I can't remember.
Tales from the Crypt.
True Detective. There is one. That's the one I meant. I remember that. That had a bit of nudity here and there, but there's other reasons you watch that show. So yeah, there's lots of reasons to watch the show. That's fine. It's adult. You're allowed to do it.
In the anti-hero era, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but there's all kinds of great stories out there that are adult in nature. There's nothing wrong with showing some boobs. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay.
Regressive, never equitable, and often contrived, and consisted largely of beautiful women dropping trow to titillate the audience.
Oh my God, what a horrible experience the audience must have had. I'm so sorry the audience had to appreciate nudity.
This is American prudism.
I don't know. What is this?
No, seriously. And look, the female breasts are the tasteful organ. And for the most part of German cinema, female breasts weren't much of a problem. It was a very natural thing. It wasn't thrown into your face all the time. It was just a natural thing that's in some scenes it's just there. But with Americans, it's always, oh God, oh, you can see the curve of the breast. Like it's like the breast is your new ankle.
Yeah. I think after the era of the internet, I think we're fine with nudity, guys. I think we're good.
No, they have to pretend. So this is the odd thing. They are acting like the developed, mature female body is somehow something we need to hide, that we must not look at. But when we talk about teenagers and prepubescent children, then we need to sexualize it all.
Well, when Cersei goes on her walk of shame, like that's like, oh wow, that is serious. Like she is running through the muck of the streets, and people are pelting her, and that's like, oh wow, this is like, part of me is like, awesome. This is, she deserves this. This is good.
Yeah, that's catharsis in a way. It's catharsis for the audience, but it's also done in a way that is repulsive.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, this is horrible, and then then you realize as soon as she
but it's Cersei.
Yeah, as soon as Cersei finishes her walk, those guys are all gonna die. They're just gonna get slaughtered. So maybe not tomorrow, but definitely maybe a week or two later, or whenever she has power again. So it's good stuff.
Again and again. Vice broke down the nudity on the show and found that 83.7%.
What the hell is this?
Are you serious?
Then why is your graphic here so titillating?
This is hilarious.
You hypocritical nonsense person.
22 naked people in season 6. 91% women, 9% men.
You are not feminists. You are Christians. You are fundamentalist Christians.
28 naked people.
You're not very sex positive. You're not very
5.
naturalizing. Wasn't free the nipple one of these feminist things you wanted to do? Now you complain? What the fuck is wrong with you people? Have some consistency. What do you actually want?
Yeah.
Because when we follow one group of feminists and do what they want, the other group of feminists that wants the opposite then complains and calls us misogynists. Then we pander to that group of feminists, and then the other group calls us misogynist again because we do the opposite of what they want. Like, just how about all you feminists just get into a room together? We lock the door from the outside, and then we'll wait a week, and afterwards we'll open the door up again, and anyone who's still alive can come out.
No, women hate women.
I think.
That's the point, Eric. That's the point.
I think the problem that they see is they don't like seeing women objectified sexually. I think that's their problem. They want
Women having sex is objectifying to these idiots.
A whorehouse.
Exactly.
Because the thing, look, it is when these women themselves are walking around naked, then it's empowering. But when it's another woman doing, then it's objectifying, because that is a competitor. It is driven by narcissism. It's empowering when she does it herself. When another woman is doing it, it is objectifying. She has to call it that because there's a competitor who gets more attention than her. That's all this is.
Could also be, there's also another element of like the male gaze is something these people bleat about all the time.
Yeah, but God, shut up about that crap. For fuck's sake. It's the same reason. It's the same reason why they complain about gym advertisements with pretty women on them that are well-trained, well-toned, actually worked for their bodies, and they call it, oh, that's an unrealistic depiction of a woman. Like, it's not. It's a natural depiction of a woman. It's one that works out hard, you fat couch potato.
Yes, if you go to the gym.
And it's the same thing. It's just jealousy. It's envy and jealousy. This is why I'm saying when another woman. So you see this from the viewpoint of the narcissistic woman. Anything that she does is empowering or has to be forgiven if it's a bad thing. But when the same thing that empowers her is done by another woman, it's a bad thing. It's objectifying because it props up. It gives a reputation bonus to a competitor. That means she can't be at the top anymore. This is the female hierarchy game. This is the female dominance hierarchy. They do not play by just excelling over each other. They do this by tearing the others down, by sabotaging the other women, so that they can stay on top. And this is because there's a biological clock ticking, and when that runs out, well, she's not going to stay on top anymore forever.
All right. Let's get off this screen.
Was one director,
Think
Neil
we'll get
Marshall,
blacklisted
said
for
the
this?
weirdest part of directing Game of Thrones was when you have one of the exec producers leaning over your
that
shoulder
Christian Bale?
going, you can go full frontal, you know. I urge you to do it. This particular executive took me to one side and said, look, I represent the pervert side of the audience, okay? I'm not saying I want full frontal nudity in this.
That's actually
Emilia Clarke was 23
accurate.
when the show began filming and has said she felt pressured into doing nudity. As the show progressed, she said she had fights on set where I'm like, no, the sheet stays up. And they're like, you don't want to disappoint your Game of Thrones fans. And while the leading female actors could increasingly exercise some control over their nude scenes, the show continued the dehumanizing practice of using naked female extras almost as props or sex dressing. The show is also full of...
In the case of the Dothraki, it makes sense.
Yeah, and in all the Peter Baelish rooms of his whorehouse, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
This is fine.
Yeah, it depends on the scene. It depends on what group of people are you depicting, what culture are you depicting. The Dothraki are very grounded, animalistic people. They're more open about this. With this, like if we show you documentaries of still what you would call native African tribes or South American tribes. Would you call them also being objectified because they run around with their breasts bare? Is that like what we're not allowed to show that when we depict a fictional tribal culture that likely does that? You're just idiots.
I don't see.
You think everything. You idiots who claim that you want diversity, you want every culture on the planet to be like you.
Yeah,
You are the dumb bigots. You are the racists.
This is all within the
On
genre.
your fucking channel, you fucking lying bitches.
This is all within the genre of adult scenarios in a fantasy setting where people die, there's dragons, there's nudity, there's sex, there's violence, there's all kinds of stuff happening of an adult nature. You can be as gratuitous as you need to be. Now, Game of Thrones is not that gratuitous. It focuses more on characters and what they're trying to accomplish. And yes, as they navigate their plots, they have these scenarios where they go to a whorehouse or they encounter a prostitute or they have sex with one of their cousins or whatever. It's like, fine, great, we get it. The people who are watching this get it. It's fine. They're not being like, oh, breastfeeding.
These idiots, these idiots believe that the moment a woman is naked, she is objectified immediately.
Let's believe that to be true and say it is, but who are you offending? None of the watchers of the show.
It's completely idiotic.
Yeah.
Like when you go to see, when you change clothes in the bathroom, are you then for a second an objectified woman because you're naked? Are you an objectified woman when you have sex with your husband? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Multiple things.
Get a therapist and a good one. My God.
Okay, let's go.
Rampant, disturbing violence, both physical and sexual, against women. George R.R. Martin defended the prevalence of these acts in the story. Rape and sexual violence have been a part of every war ever fought. To omit them from a narrative centered on war and power would have been fundamentally false and dishonest.
Look how we still haven't talked about Theon's penis.
Yeah, that's right. I doubt they'll get there, though. I really doubt it.
If the city falls, these fine women should be in for a bit of a rape.
But the problem lies less in depicting this and more in how the subject matter is dealt with. The show takes a casual attitude toward rape as a tool to torture its female characters.
A casual attitude?
Have you noticed that Cersei wanted that to happen? The woman that you want to have catharsis.
Or at least
Are you
was
dense?
what would hapen.
I don't think they take rape casually in this story.
Yeah, like how do you do that? How do you casually rape someone?
Let alone think
like
about
you just
it.
cut away and just you hear sounds, but you don't.
I know, you know, it's like Genghis Khan goes through his day. He wakes up in the morning, brushes his teeth, has his drinks a bit of wine from the skull of an enemy, casually rapes 3 women, goes about to inspect his troops, takes a ride with his horse, captures another woman, rapes her casually while on his horse, returns in the afternoon from a long day of riding the countryside, and then that woman, of course, at the same time, gets dinner. And then
Casually?
casually eats dinner, and then lets the day fade out, brushes his teeth again, and then maybe has an evening snack of casually raping another 2 women before casually going to sleep. It's a normal day, casual day in the day of Genghis Khan. Yeah,
possibly even just has sex with like his multiple wives.
That he casually rapes.
Well, yeah.
If they don't want
the
to,
women
then it's
objectifying
rape, of
themselves?
course. What?
Are the women objectifying?
If he has sex with them, then he's objectifying them. Of course,
if they're prostitutes, yes, they are objectifying themselves. That's kind of.
But they're his wives. But he's objectifying them because they're naked when they have sex. Because when a woman is naked, she's objectified.
Oh, so
she's just an object. Like these women. Oh god! Think of it in the reverse. A woman only ceases to be an object if her body is hidden with clothes. Is this the pro-Islamist argument to wrap a woman in towels until you can't see her shape anymore?
Oh dear. Yeah, they're only sexual objects.
Otherwise she's just an object.
Yeah, they're objects for sure, but they're only sexual objects when they take the clothing off, or they take some of the clothing off. Then they're very sexual. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but yeah. So the feminist belief is that women are objects, and they only cease to be objects and only become subjects, become individuals, become humans. When you hide their sexual assets, when you hide that they are women.
I'm trying to think of a correlation between like the uncanny valley, where you get a certain sweet spot between what's believable and what's not, and what's sexual and what's just simple nudity. It's like there's a whole range of body shapes and poses and clothing to make something sexual. And then once you,
it's like the succubus meme with the cute manga succubus that gets more and more embarrassed the more clothes she wears.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she gets more adorable and attractive. Not sexually attractive, just attractive as a girl.
Oh no, like she's super confident when she's completely naked.
Yeah.
But the more, but because she's a succubus, the more clothes she puts on, the more scandalous she finds it. Because oh god, I'm objectified. Oh god.
And once there's no mystery, you're like, yeah, who cares? Oh boy.
Address the underlying issues and resulting trauma. After being sold to the Dothraki, Daenerys is forced into a marriage with Khal Drogo by her brother, and Drogo, who sees Dany as his property, rapes her twice on screen. But after this, Drogo becomes a grand romantic hero. It turns out he just needed Dany to learn to please him in bed.
Can you teach me how to make that?
What? He needed Dany to learn to please him.
All right, so obviously he gets a wife his own cultural way, and then once he has the wife, he protects her.
Yeah, in his so by his cultural standards, this was a completely normal marriage.
Yeah.
That the Dothraki men that's how they do it. It's nothing special about it.
And the whole prophecy is that his child is going to mount the world or something like that.
Yeah, the stallion that mounts the world, the great Dothraki conqueror who will take every land for the Dothraki.
Right, something like that.
And you take white women. Don't tell me that you don't have secret rape fantasies about Jason Momoa going over you.
Yeah,
I have them every day.
In the book, it's kind of
described. Do you imagine Aquaman ringing over you?
Well, he will motorboat you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm the fish.
You'll see us trident up the seas.
How do the horse travel the water? It's like Aquaman. Yeah.
Just part the
Fuck you,
seas.
Barry.
We shall ride.
Yeah.
How about the motion of the ocean?
Yes. So he would fall in love with her and treat her well. Meanwhile, Cersei's rape by her brother in front of their recently deceased son was, according to Vulture, a new low for the deeply violent series because the scene was rewritten.
That's not really anything special between the two.
Yeah.
It's like a Tuesday.
So, they're not taking into account what the actors and the director said regarding this scene and saying that it was not rape. That's what they said.
It also didn't look like it. It looked like Cersei was conflicted.
Yeah,
but also like
because this is their relationship. That's why I said this is like a Tuesday for these two characters.
There's also like just factually the actors have been besieged with questions for years about this, asking why did this happen? Yeah, it was like on at least 4 occasions at cons they were asked, so what was going through Jaime's head when he raped Cersei, and Jaime Castorwaldo and Lena Headey were like, we were not asked to play it as rape. It was not supposed to be framed as rape, and I'm sorry, like I know as a woman it's hard for me to say this, but yes, it was not, but no, it was not meant as rape. So
these people have forgotten the first season.
They also don't do their research. Just think that.
So what exactly is it? So why do they think it's rape?
Because she's saying no throughout the whole scene. That's why. And it looks very like the framing angles conceals the fact that she's actually like grabbing him and having him pulling him in because it's poorly filmed. But also just like factually, like it is not a rape scene. It is not scripted as a rape scene. It's just shot to incompetent it looks like rape.
Wow, that bad, huh?
Yeah.
Oh boy, we've reached new lows.
Okay.
From the book to recast the sex as not consensual, and yet the show's cast and crew aren't even sure whether it constitutes rape. It becomes consensual by the end, director Alex Graves told Vulture. The coffin scene seemingly undoes a lot of Jaime's heavily featured redemption
No,
arc.
not by the end. You can see that in the beginning.
But afterwards, there's no discussion about Jaime's assault or Cersei's mental state at all. After Sansa's attempted rape
She's
at
a
the riot
psychopath.
She's a psychopath. End of story. Exactly. What do they want from?
Hey, we agree.
Oh my God, we shouldn't have done that, Jaime. Like we've done in the past dozens of times over. Like okay.
Oh, Cersei's poor mental state. She's a psychopath. She doesn't give a shit what happens to anyone. This woman should have hung years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
How much of all the horror and
Ramsay
tragedy? How much of all the horror and tragedy and war of Game of Thrones would not have happened had Cersei been dead in the first in back when they were up in the north? Like she had died by some riding accident or something. That really was just okay, she fell off the horse, that stupid bint.
Yeah. The Tyrell would have married yeah, she probably would have married the king. The whole issue with the church would have been resolved. Geez, a lot of things wouldn't have happened.
The church wouldn't have exploded.
Well, yeah, for sure. That. Yeah.
So probably that new cult would have taken hold.
It wouldn't be as violent.
Yeah.
Marjorie and what was the son's name?
Tommen.
Yeah, they would have ruled.
No, I don't think she would have married him. She would have married Joffrey first, and then. Oh wait, maybe the Queen of Thorns would have, Lady of Thorns would have killed Joffrey anyway. Yeah, probably. You're right.
Yeah, that's very likely. You want that guy out.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
In any way, Varys would have wanted him out of the way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you get rid of Cersei, and even if you had Tywin still alive, wouldn't have been much of a problem.
Yeah, Tywin would have been like, well, no one comes after my family, but he was a kind of a bitch.
Yeah, she fell off the horse, so I can't even blame anyone.
Yeah.
Okay, sad, but yeah, let's look forward. Yeah, get her out of the way, and most of Westeros is fine, and maybe they could have even fought the White Walkers properly.
Yep. Wonderful. See, that's what happens. You have a cool villain, or an evil villain, rather. Just outright evil.
Season 5 on their wedding night in Sansa's childhood home. But the camera is focused on Theon's face, making us feel not the victim's experience, but the...
This is where she shows that she's a narcissist, that she's completely unempathetic. Because, okay, we're seeing that she's completely superficial. This is what narcissists do. They only see superficial emotions and interpret those. They cannot feel the emotions beneath the true emotions, what you really go through. They only see the surface, and the surface can lie, by the way, but that's another story. Yeah, a real person, real empathy is that and this is why this is a great scene. We see Theon and his pain, and he knows in his head and in his heart that his actions led to all this, and he is breaking on the inside. He has to watch. And we see his pain because he realizes all of this. It all comes crashing in on him while he is mutilated. And through him, we also see this pain induced through the act he has to witness, and we have to imagine it. And imagining the act is much worse than actually having to see it. And because this woman does not understand that. She can't put herself in Theon's shoes. She can't see the scene from Theon's eyes. That is what proves to us, but this is how she even admits to us her core symptom of a narcissistic personality disorder.
Well, think of it this way.
This woman needs to be in a mental hospital.
Think of it this way. She was just bitching for most of the video about how rape is bad and showing it and titillation is bad. And here we have a scene where we don't even see the rape. We see it from the perspective, or rather, we're for the opposite view, and we're looking at this perverse scenario where Reek is looking at
Catch-22. It's a Catch-22. We cannot win.
Yeah, like this is a really hard scene to watch because it's so revolting. And you're like, oh my god, this is happening right now. And Reek is he's a destroyed man at this point. He is gone, and now he's being ordered to do this. So now he's realizing what's going on, and to not have the scene shown. First, that's a horrible setup and why it's happening the way it is. You're like, oh, this is going to happen. Holy shit! Oh my god! You're like, you personally are like, Sansa's going to lose her virginity. She's giving herself to this horrible person, and this guy has to watch. This is really freaking uncomfortable.
Yeah. So if we show it, we're objectifying the woman. If we don't show it, if we only imply it, then we're hiding the pain of the woman.
When you can hear it. You can
make a fucking decision what you actually want, you manipulative, disgusting, narcissistic asshole.
Okay.
Are you doing the same confusing gaslighting bullshit with your children?
It's a strange take because they've just been telling us the opposite, where you can't do this. And then here's a scene which is clever, how they're framing it, and you're saying this is worse. You're like, what is?
I guess they don't even realize that in their own video, like as they're editing. Like, there's two of them, right? So, like, do they not talk to each other?
I don't think they edit.
Try to stay consistent.
Look, I don't even think they edit their videos themselves. So I'm not even sure whether they even write their takes themselves or whether they're just reading this crap.
Yeah, it's hard to...
Yeah, are they writing it? Or...
Well, no, it's hard to list all the issues that you have. Like, I used to do that with the take. It was like, there's too many. There's just so many faux pas and logic errors they make that I have like 3-4 pages of notes. I was like, this is pointless. They're not going to read it. They don't care. They're just moving on to the next hot thing, and they're going to talk about.
Yeah, they're dumb idiots.
Which
Either they make this themselves, or it's a lot of cooks messing up the same soup. But this is a big enough channel that I can imagine that it's, and because this is nothing but propaganda, this channel. I can believe that there are people behind this, creating this, not just these two women. It's like that we similar to how we know that lots of these bread tubers are being paid actors by China at this point. They get their money from China.
I don't know. Some of them are pretty brain dead. I wouldn't be surprised if they just...
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. China is propping them up so that they spout this bullshit, because there are some people who listen to it and believe it, because they have just as little brains as them. Our wonderful friend, what was his name? The guy I keep mistaking for Tabernacle.
Oh, jeez. Which one?
The slow guy.
Turf Nation.
Hawk?
Turf Nation?
No.
Turf Nation?
No, the teacher from North and South Korea.
Oh, Renegade Cut.
Yes, Renegade Cut. He takes money from China.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, check out ADV Podcast. They cover China stuff on the regular. And they translate stuff, and they've lived there for a couple years, I think. And it's for them. I think they uncovered it even. I'm not entirely sure about that part, but they reported on this whole BreadTube thing that large parts of BreadTube are taking CCP money.
Oh, all right, I'll check it out. I'll be happy to Google that.
I'll link that video.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, we got 5 minutes left. Holy jeez.
This pain. Unlike most of the other women, Sansa does get to survive and become a strong leader who ends up ruling the North. So she's the
she's a
female character
retard
with the most formal power in the end. But regrettably, the show implies that her experience of being repeatedly abused by Ramsay is a key part of what made her into a stronger person.
Without Littlefinger and Ramsay.
Yeah, what else should it do? Should it crush you? Because that's the thing that I see. This is why these women have absolutely no bloody clue about anything in the world. The rape either crushes you and then you die, not either by suicide or just by shriveling up. Because that's what happens if you see yourself as a victim. Or you grow past it. And then you become a stronger person. Maybe you become a colder person out of necessity. Like this is a time where there's no trauma therapy available because it hasn't been invented. But yeah, it's either that, it's either or. So she either dies or she grows up. Sansa grew up. She's still an idiot, but at least she grew up.
But is she allowed to love again?
He doesn't find a guy.
Well, I'm just saying, you're getting raped. So what does that mean? You're not allowed to love it, or you find love eventually?
What are you talking about? Sansa is just a narcissistic bint as well. The way she's written in the show, this is not a real person. This is just an entitled bitch that's walking around. That stuff happens to her, and then at the end she gives orders as if she knows stuff, and the show makes her look good. When the stuff she says that's been written for her is absolutely retarded. And she's turned into yet another Mary Sue.
Because the showrunners like Sansa as a character, and they're just...
And you have to be brain damaged to like Sansa as a character, because she is an unbearable character. This is an unbearable woman. You do not want to be in a relationship, much less a marriage with her. Because she will always be the entitled bitch that thinks she always knows better than you. And what she says is mostly stupid. And then she wonders why she gets a fist in the face.
In the rest, I would have stayed a little bird all my life.
As Jessica Chastain tweeted, rape is not a tool to make a character stronger. The little bird was always a phoenix. Rapes of faceless and voiceless women also occur.
See, so the actress is also an idiot. Which doesn't surprise me, because I've seen the looks, the way she acts. If that is who she really is, if she's just acting herself, she's not much of a better character.
I'm pretty sure she even acted like
the character she plays.
Well, she was in the X-Men. I think she was kind of the same way.
Yeah, I didn't like her there either. It's like she's just ugh.
Yeah.
And I know girls like that in real life that are just like that, And they're all horrible people. Horrible, narcissistic, manipulative people. You do not want to be in relationships with them. They usually have several guys at the same time and get jealous when one of them is looking at another girl.
She has nothing to do with Game of Thrones, as far as I know. So,
yeah, I'm just naming the most extreme versions of that. There are also those that stay in one relationship at a time. But man, are these girls jealous? They're always entitled, and it's unbearable.
Yes, you can never.
It's the unbearable girls of any generation.
You can
and they've
never,
existed throughout the millennia.
You can never learn and grow from tragedy, guys. It's not going to work. It's not very helpful. It's like, okay, sure.
She has always been a phoenix. Like this idiot, this actress is an idiot. For a phoenix to rise, the phoenix needs to die, which is in this instance is the rape. That's where the phoenix, you could say, dies. The little innocent little bird. And from that, she emerges stronger. That's the idea. At least that's the idea. Whether it's executed well is another question.
Okay.
God, these people are all retards.
In the background of scenes for an easy shock factor, or rape can be used as a tool to allow male characters to swoop in and save.
No. It's not an easy shock factor when it happens in the background. When it happens in the background, that tells you, oh my god, this place is so horrible, there's a casual thing there? Nobody even pays attention to the horrible thing? That's how bad it is. This place is so bad that this super horrible thing that happens in the background, nobody even pays attention to it. Like it's just I don't know, somebody pouring wine or fixing clothes, or I don't know, painting something. It's just something casual. It's just doesn't matter.
So if a woman gets raped, men should do nothing.
I think that these people have inconsistent standards, essentially.
Yeah, it's just every frame she complains about something. If that is the opposite of what she just complained about a second before, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like violence is
bad.
This
is another thing.
Rape is
how
bad.
You know
you can't have them in the show, but you can because they help people become heroes. It's like, what do you want? What exactly?
Yeah, this is what creates this catch-22, where you can never please her. And this is why, this is another thing, how you can tell you're dealing with a narcissist. Because it only ever matters what is in front, what is on this frame, and
I wouldn't go
this
that
is
far.
the rules that apply right now, in this second, and the next frame, the next second, it's something else. It can be the opposite. It's as long as she can complain and feel to be in the right. And this is why you can never please her. You can never do that.
It seems more
this
like...
This is why you should stay away from women like that. And men.
It seems like more like ideology that's not working with logic. And they're just saying things that they don't like. And they're giving reasons why they don't like it. Like, oh, this makes women weak.
Yeah, but this is what I've said. This is what I've said years ago.
But isn't it part of the ideology?
That this ideology itself, the whole feminism, especially, and the whole social justice thing at large, operates like a narcissist. It uses the strategies of narcissistic behavior.
I think that's true for some.
Because people get away with it. People get their will with it.
I think as a result of repeating the same things and being passionate about this ideology, they'll eventually become that way. I think these two women specifically
both happens.
Are just too ignorant of what they're saying because they're so ensconced.
No. Both happens. The ideology attracts people that are already like that, and through the ways of the ideology, it makes people act like that as well. I've mentioned this. I've mentioned this a lot before, like months ago, probably, because this is an important thing. Like, just because someone acts like a narcissist in a moment doesn't mean it's a narcissistic personality disorder. When we are under a lot of stress, we humans, and we are under extreme mental stress, extreme exhausted, maybe in a dangerous situation, our personality collapses for a short time, because that's all high brain functions. And in this stressful situation, everything is about self-preservation. So we all we then collapse into the most basic functions that we have, which are narcissistic behaviors and strategies. We're not aware of that. At least most people are not aware of that happens in these situations until the stressful, dangerous situation is over, and then for a normal person, the normal personality emerges again, and then we maybe feel guilt about some of the shitty things we've done or said. For people with narcissistic personality disorder, they have no actual personality they can return to because they've never created it in the first place. They are constantly in this childlike state. Narcissistic personality disorder is being constantly and forever in the emotional, if you want to say intelligence, but the emotional maturity level of a child. They're cognitively older, but emotionally, they're children. And this is how they argue. Ever argued with a 5-year-old about the rules of a board game? And when the 5-year-old can't win, either throws a tantrum or just keeps changing the rules? That's what they are doing.
All right. 17 minutes. Almost done.
17.
Known as the White Knight trope.
What?
Lord Selwyn would pay his daughter's weight in sapphires if she's returned to him. But only if she's alive, her honor undismerged.
After Sam rescues Gilly from being assaulted,
Get your hands off her.
the two have sex. An unrealistic expectation for a woman who has
What?
just been attacked, as the show acknowledges.
No, that's kind of how it works. You impress woman, you show you care about woman. Sam put his life on the line to protect this woman. She sees this guy put his life on the line to protect me and saved me. Yeah, he cares about that. That means he potentially very much cares about me. In the case that another dangerous thing happens, he may care about me again and save me again. Yes, I think that is a good that is a suitable man for me and my potential child. That is great. And that is why people fall in love through situations like this. It's not I reward him with sex for having rescued me. This is like you want to be princesses, but you don't want to walk the walk.
When he saved her, like, how long was it when they had sex? Was it right after, or did it take some time?
It was right after. It was like right after.
Oh.
Yes, and that isn't too uncommon because hey, the adrenaline is going. That is some adrenaline going on there.
Alrighty.
Earlier.
A girl who's almost raped doesn't invite another man into her bed 2 hours later.
And of course, the show wraps up with the climactic moment of its hero John killing his former lover in a stabbing that's positioned as noble and selfless, leading to a troublingly glorified image of domestic assault.
What?
Message.
No.
It's the best. Guys. This is
Hitler.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is a domestic case of abuse between Jon Snow and his wife.
Are you an idiot or something?
Yeah, they are idiots. And if the scene was reversed, she would say that, this is a classic scene of the wife having to kill the abusive husband, for which women are unjustifiably put into prison for murder despite just defending themselves. I've heard
no wonder
say
Mark
that.
didn't come on. Jesus Christ.
I have personally talked with feminists who believe that women are unjustifiably put to prison for having killed their husbands, usually with poison, because they had no way out of their allegedly abusive marriage. And some of them may have been abusive marriages, all right, but in a lot of them, the woman is just as abusive as the man, or is the only abuser in the marriage. And it's like someone who said she was an active feminist for 25 years at the time. That would have that 1995. I think in 1995 we already had women's shelters in Germany. I even know where a women's shelter in my hometown is, although I shouldn't have. It was because my mother is an idiot who told me.
So anyway, killing a murderous lunatic is not a form of domestic abuse. I'm quite sure they might be miscategorizing this scenario a bit.
The term doesn't even apply here.
Yeah.
What was it with the Kingslayer? Wasn't that domestic abuse? The son killing the father? No, it wasn't the father. Wait, I'm mixing that up.
Yeah.
So the king he had sworn to protect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
my bad.
It was dishonorable to do that, but he saved the kingdom. It's like, yeah.
Tyrion killing Tywin. Wasn't that a domestic abuse?
Oh no. Patricide. Oh no. Anyway.
Guys just want to kill him and
just gotta kill him.
Yeah, kill all women. Take my grinds.
This on the woman. She's hot enough, we'll leave her.
Okay.
Just eat the meat. Become cannibalistic.
Okay.
Are you just saying random things again?
Yeah. I'm brain dead at this.
That's fair. Yeah, this is a pretty bad video.
The final season fundamentally let down its characters with writing that abandoned their complexity and seemed to forget much of what it set out to do.
I agree.
So much is true.
The choice of Bran felt almost like the plot was trying so hard to avoid an obvious, predictable conclusion. They wrote an ending that didn't complete what had been set up by the narrative.
If you've planned your book that the butler did it, someone has figured out that the butler did it, and you suddenly change in midstream and it was the chambermaid who did it, you screw up the whole book.
Tyrion suggests Bran as the king because he has the best story.
And who has a better story than Bran the Brook?
That is a pretty stupid reasoning, yeah, isn't it?
Yeah. Kinda.
I like this. I like the story where Jon kills the Mad Queen and saves everyone. That's a good story. No, we'll have the guy in the wheelchair who can see the future but doesn't give a shit about humans anymore. Bran's a bit disconnected from the rest of everyone else.
Well, he always has his throne with him.
Yeah.
He's always thinking.
Bran has the wheelchair that mounts the world. Move over stallion that mounts the world.
Yeah.
We've got the wheelchair that mounts the world. Sawed off.
Oh, God.
The show didn't really think this because they put him off screen for much of the middle season's action. He doesn't appear in season 5 at all. Another fan favorite character, Tyrion, does end up in a high position as the advisor who will seemingly be running things. Yet in the final seasons, Tyrion's trademark wit starts to evaporate.
At least your balls won't freeze off.
You take great offense at dwarf jokes, but love telling eunuch jokes. Why is that?
Because I have balls. You don't.
And for all that we heard about what a smart guy he was, the advice he gives is rather basic or wrong.
He's bringing all the dead people back to life. Women and children in a crypt with all the dead people. Tyrion is smart, but I guess not that smart.
So while his final position would have felt earned in earlier seasons, based on his recent job performance, it feels a lot like failing up. Then there's Jon Snow, whom the show had always been leading to
Well,
some
you should be
larger
familiar
purpose.
with failing up.
was not the prince who was promised, but someone has to be.
Arguably, you can interpret Jon's great destiny as bringing a much-needed end to the Iron Throne, protecting the world from a darkness which isn't actually the White Walkers as much as Dany. Still, if his right to the throne didn't
Should have been
matter,
the White
why
Walkers.
did the show make such a big deal about Jon's parentage if not to just aggressively trick us? And if the point is about getting over the idea that your ancestry matters, then why did Jon...
Okay, you stupid, idiotic woman, read a book.
Yeah, getting into the whole...
Stop complaining about a show that lost its writing because the actual writers are idiots that don't give a shit about any consistency. And the only reason that the first seasons were any good was because they were less involved in the writing process, I suppose.
George R. R. Martin, they were adapting the material more closely, and George R. R. Martin was more involved.
Right, and this is part of a prophecy which George was not telling anyone what the truth was until like the last minute. And he never even wrote the book to finish that off anyway. So
you didn't even make clickbait. You just made something for people to click on, so you had something on your channel to make some money off. Because this whole video is nothing but idiocy.
You never had a thought in your head in your life. You are no better than Benioff and Weiss.
Okay.
John's heritage make him the only one able to fulfill his destiny.
We hope to kind of avoid the expected, and Jon Snow has always been the hero, the one who's been the savior, but it just didn't seem right to us for this moment.
The retconning, dead ends,
Why?
inconsistencies, and loose
Why?
ends actively damage the quality of the early seasons. As rewatching or starting as a new viewer, we know all that character development is going to be wasted. An ending often determines a story's takeaway. Game of Thrones epitomized the cultural moment of its time, but misread that moment and didn't think carefully enough about what its legacy as a time capsule should be. So now, perhaps its greatest legacy is a caution to look before you leap to the end, because if you don't stick the landing, you may devalue everything that came before.
Okay, I actually like that
What?
last sentence. It was how she got there that was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. She had to cram her stupid ideology into it.
Yeah, obviously endings
So
matter.
is that why it feels already dated?
It's not that Game of Thrones didn't know what it wanted to be. It knew that very well in the first seasons. And then you had complete idiots ruin it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the fault of the show. That's fault of the people.
Created
who made
by
it.
Susan.
Writer.
Wait, go back to the creators.
Give me back the credits. Give me back the credits.
What, Susanna McCullough? What do you want?
You just had the credits on screen.
Yeah,
There we go.
What?
Footage, images.
I think there's a Patreon thing here.
I'll do it myself.
I don't see a Patreon now.
Come on.
I think it's
There we go.
just merch and...
Deborah Minoff, Susanna McCullough, executive producers. That's the two women. Creative directors, one of them. Writers. Okay. Susanna McCullough is the one who... She also writes this shit. But she has Isabel Bishop helping her to write.
You also got a
narrator is Kaya Franklin. That's someone else. So this was neither of the two women?
Yeah, weird.
Yeah,
See how
Was
big
she
of a
always the
production
narrator
this
for all
is?
these videos?
Look how many people are
A
involved in
sound
this
mixer.
production.
That's amazing. A sound mixer just to get this off the door.
Associate producer. What the fuck? So we have 3 producers, 1 creative director, 2 writers, and all this other bullshit for... This is an agitprop operation. This is not a real channel. This is an agitprop operation. Okay, that's for sources.
What's that, Wisp? I've never heard that term before.
Agitation and propaganda. It's what they did in the Soviet Union.
I see what you mean. It's just
Eastern,
abbreviation. Okay.
Yeah, in East Germany, we had a ministry of agitation and propaganda. One of the leading figures in that was a woman called Angela Merkel. Maybe that explains a few things.
That makes more sense.
Okay. Anyway, that was...
There's some financial term that I had never heard of.
It's not a financial term.
I know now, but that's what I thought it was.
Okay.
It was.
Well, let's see if we have any stream memes. Oh, we do. Isn't that nice? How long will this take? Let's find out.
I was so angry today. Man.
How I Met Your Mother fandom. We had the worst series finale ever. Game of Thrones writers.
Oh God, where does it start?
That's fantastic. What feminists think the gender war is, so super chick versus capitalist man, what it really is, overweight feminazi versus the nuclear family?
Traditional family.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically a lot of these people are homewreckers for profit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the whole anti-Mormon stuff.
Oh.
Mormon cottage industry is basically homewreckers for profit.
Oh my God, let's not look at that anymore.
Oh God.
Okay, Jorah, if you want the throne, you must win it with blood on your hands. The blood of my enemies, not the blood of innocents. Well, we kind of forgot that Dany was a hero for 10 years, so we decided to turn her evil overnight and massacre innocents to avoid the expected.
Yeah, it's all about subversion.
I don't think they're that clever.
No, that's what they think. They think they're just subverting everything by doing random shit.
No.
I think doing random shit is subversion.
So Whisp actually has a point here. I've read through the behind-the-scenes booklet, and one of the writers said, we wanted to subvert expectations. That exact line comes up in the book.
Yep.
Wish it didn't.
Yeah. And that's how you get robbed of your catharsis, of your cathartic moment for your relevant characters.
They did it. They have changed the main villain 3 episodes in a row.
They did.
Really?
They did.
Wow.
Much.
That sounds like what's happening in Star Trek Picard right now. There's so many villains. You're like, what the freaking hell is happening? You're not sure who to follow. David Benioff and DB Weiss, Game of Thrones co-creators win Best Writing Award at 2015 Emmys. What?
These look like they're photoshopped and distorted.
It looks weird, but that is actually what they look like.
Yeah.
So that may explain some things.
That was season 4 or season 3?
That would be season 5 came out in 2015.
Oh,
that was already a shit one.
But the awards of 2015 are for the year prior, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
No, okay.
That's
okay,
fair.
Yeah.
4th season was the best. At least I think so. I don't want to live on this planet anymore. Well, if all they're doing is adapting the books and doing a reasonable job with millions and millions and millions, you can't screw that up. So,
Yeah, but they've just been riding on the quality of George R. R. Martin, not on their own. Their own quality we saw after season 4.
I would say adapting is an art. There is a skill to it. So I don't know if they did that or they hired other people. I don't really care. They're the directors in charge, so they oversaw it. So I don't mind. It's not a big deal. When I'm a cock measuring competition and my opponent is Michelle Obama? What?
I don't know what that's doing here, but yes.
Why is this here? What does this mean?
Oh no.
What?
I think it's just trying to remind us of something.
I don't know.
Let's move on.
Got fans?
They could be talking about chicken.
Eric, shut up.
What did you do to me? D&D, I took away your ending.
I took away your ending.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, instead of bending. Okay, I was like, what the hell is that
Yes.
word? When one of the Smudcast regulars makes a video, they're getting dragged in the quote tweets, sir. Who's that?
I don't get that.
Who made a video?
Mark.
Mark made a video? Yeah. Oh, he did? He didn't tell me. What the hell?
I thought he wrote a review.
He made a review, yeah.
Oh.
Not a video.
Matthias announced it. Announced it already.
So, Be Not Afraid. So this is one of the Seraphim, I think. Do It Be Squirting? What?
More things I don't understand.
I don't know what's going on anymore. What the hell?
There's so many.
Just like the video.
Francisco Bordo Coppolino is our new Mike Tester.
Okay. Yeah, that's another issue with Mike. Master of Whispers. Hey, John, wanna commit treason?
Accurate. Accurate summation.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
When writing is so bad that you'd rather die than move 5 feet and save yourself.
That's the pile that Cersei and Jaime were killed in under, and it's completely clear a few feet away.
Everywhere.
Oh, I love this one. Oh, if you actually saw the original, they have it lines. Like season 1 is cut into lines up to 4. And then,
yeah, it's also colored.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
No female fantasy. You have no personality, average looks, and make no effort at likability, but men are attracted to you anyway.
Male fantasy. You're likely to die a horribly painful death, but you'll die fighting alongside your brothers for something greater than yourself.
Hell yeah.
It's like men are more interested in ideas than people for some reason.
Who would have thought?
Good Dragon. These vids are amazing, and I just have to bring up these two guys' channels. Primitive Survival. Wow.
That's a mud villa.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
That's amazing. I'll watch that later.
I'll check that out.
This what the hell am I looking at?
It's Game of Thrones
the
face.
scene. That's the scene where they show that
That is Arya's face.
Oh, really?
It's the waif's face. It's actually the waif's face.
waif?
The person who's been.
No.
She's called the waif. She's basically a member of the House of Black and White who's been training Arya for weeks and weeks now.
Yeah.
And
A little
she finally gets revenge.
Yeah, a little different in the books, I know that, but yeah, she's the one who's torturing her and training her. Okay, you're understandably trying to make sense of a writing failure. Indeed, the writers messed up the Arya Stark storyline, and I'm not going to go through all those points because, yeah, there's a lot. But it was watchable. The Arya story is kind of messed up, but it is fun to watch. So, gender justice speech. Wisp. We're not going to read that.
I don't know. It was just for Good Dragon. About something in the chat.
Okay. Well,
Called God Plus.
Yes, seriously.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
That could stream Christian movies now. Yeah.
I told you that the plus is a sign of social justice takeover.
Kaiser Bros are screeching at the thought of Got Plus. Oh, Bismarck's helmet? What is going on here? The world will be better if Germany won World War One. Germany wasn't the bad guy in World War One. Listen to those a lot of the time and sing them. Okay. What?
Or got cuffed.
All right. I mean, if you want to revisit history, go for it. I'm gonna. Jeez, let's not imagine what could have happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Angry. Does that mean you're angry?
I think that was during a Wisp rant. It just shows like him with glowing red eyes.
Yeah, but is that a portmanteau? Like, what is?
Probably.
Is it hungry and angry, or I don't know? Is it hangry?
Hungry?
I don't know. Eris woke up today. He is not thrilled.
Long Targaryen king. That's Aegon the Fourth.
Oh. Cool. I don't know the pictures. Siege of Vienna was against the Ottomans. All right, thank you, Des. Obviously, you guys like your war stories of old. Attila fought against the Romans. All right. Another video. Elmo got me into Game of Thrones. Sesame Street respect is coming. Holy hell.
They actually...
They did that.
Oh my god. All right.
Amazing. I love it.
Watch that later.
Wow.
Ever heard of Attila the Hun? He besieged Vienna. It took Polish wing hussars to beat him. And then we have Hold Up Wisp, High Function Autism, and Unrestrained Rage are a really bad combo.
Look, he got really far into Western Europe.
It's
the Battle of the Carolina.
It's basically, look, it basically happened right next to each other, okay?
1,000 years later. Give or take. All right. Sire, we've been invaded by a massive horde. Okay, but are they people of color? Oh god. Let's not ever think that's a logical line of thinking from point A to point B.
Jesus Christ. Next one.
Dolphins rape people? What the what the hell?
It is true though.
Okay, that's enough of that. Whoa, what's this? Any female born after 1993 can't cook. All they know is McDonald's charge they phone, twerk, be bisexual, eat hot chip, and lie. Is that Slender Man? What is this?
Yes, the Slenderman.
What the hell is this? What does this have anything to do with?
I think when you guys were talking about throwing kids into the woods to survive.
Okay. All right. This is like way.
I think I don't know.
Yeah, it's like beginning of the stream. I don't know. Anyway. What makes a good King Tommen? All right. Having the best story to tell. What? No, you fucking retard. Tywin's like,
I
what
miss
the fuck?
Tywin. I miss Tywin.
Yeah, he was the best character. Okay, Game of Thrones Season 8. Game of Thrones fans are laughing. Breaking Bad fans are crying because El Camino is proposing to Breaking Bad fans?
I think you're mistaking what's going on.
What is going on?
So Game of Thrones Season 8 is like...
I think it's I think
it's
like
Game of
El
Thrones Season 8 is
Camino-
jealous. And the the real Game of Thrones fans are like, oh my god, that's so wonderful.
El Camino?
I think El Camino is a
It's a conclusion.
Game of Thrones.
The Breaking Bad movie.
It's a conclusion it is a conclusion to Breaking Bad with some prequel scenes, I think. I believe, if I remember correctly.
Cool.
It's just a bit odd because the actor for Todd had some health issues.
Okay, because I was...
And looks very different.
I was looking at the cake. Go ahead.
Of course you were looking at the cake.
It's El Camino to Breaking Bad fans. They're so excited, but GOT fans are I can't stand the sight of the season 8.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, I was thinking there's a wedding going on. And I was like, oh, you got a beautiful cake.
The Breaking Bad wedding.
I don't know. This is nice. You're at like, it looks like you're at the 360 restaurant in Toronto on the CN Tower. Could be any other tower. I don't know. But the cake looks delicious. That's a nice cake. Anyway, from their Patreon, only 149 patrons at minimum $3 a month. All right.
Okay, they can't make enough money from Patreon.
No, there's
and the engagement on Patreon shows that the numbers they get on their channel can't be exactly right. It seems off. This is a giant channel with a giant team behind it. These people need to get paid. This is an agitprop operation. This is funded by some outside source.
All right. Well, I don't know what this topic is, and I don't care, so I'm going to click away.
The height. It's a height issue or something. What?
Euphoria. Cassie goes bananas. Her arc has a lot to say about self-esteem, sexuality, and the slut trope. Yeah, I don't care. That's fine.
Why women like her are still judged?
Yeah, I'm sure they have all kinds of great videos. If the special girl on screen is given her status by a guy, then surely her specialness can be taken away as quickly at its best. What?
Moving beyond a male creation.
What? What does that have anything to do with the female as a character?
So a guy creates a female character. That's bad?
Well, if guys in a story say this thing is important and that thing is a person or another character, what's wrong with who cares who says that? This is the opposite of like the Bechdel test. If two women keep talking about a guy, like that's fine. Or sorry, that's bad. And the inverse is also bad if the guy says a girl is important. Anyway.
Huh?
Feminist mumbo jumbo. I don't care about it. Hitler, Mao, Stalin, and Daenerys. Okay, there you go.
Where's her mustache?
Yeah. Well, she's like Mao.
And why is Mao half bald?
Yeah, Mao needs more hair.
Have you never seen a picture of Mao Zedong?
Now we have yet another.
He probably had a hat.
Wonderful.
What?
Meme of a train
Going
crashing into the water.
Beautiful.
Why is this a thing? What is...
It's a metaphor.
Game of Thrones.
Is a train falling off of...
Yeah, train wreck.
It's like a train wreck.
Oh.
But is it really? Train wrecks are supposed to make you laugh.
All right.
Did Game of Thrones make you laugh?
Is that from filming Back to the Future?
I don't remember.
Don't. No, I don't think so. The architecture is a little bit too modern, and the filming techniques don't look similar.
All right. Well, that was a long stream. Actually, I kind of enjoyed it because the take is so biased. It's like
weird.
Oh. Yeah, it's kind of easy just to like turn your brain off and go, okay, that's dumb. You turn it back on and go, yeah, that's too stupid. I have to say something. It's too much my brain can't handle. So I'm glad they're still around so we can watch their ridiculous takes, because that is atrocious stuff. Man. Anyway,
This is really bad shit.
I had a question. So we're nearing the episode 500 soon. I was just wondering, how's that gonna look like? Is it gonna be like 400 or?
I think we should do similar to 400, where we take individual people who want to talk about a topic that either they didn't get a chance to, or it was never voted, or it could be a favorite thing. Like I'm doing another thing on the weekend about Mass Effect just because someone wanted to do it. You're like, okay, let's do it. But with 500, we should be a bit more organized and get some people who actually want to talk about something specific. It could be a cooking recipe. It could be anything. I don't care. So long as we're all involved, and that doesn't go for just you guys, but anyone on listening or on the Discord, share your ideas if you want to come on and talk about a topic. It could be politics. I really doesn't bother me. Anything is available. You can, as long as you want to talk about it for more than 20 minutes and share your ideas. That's a good take for me. So,
I'm down to pimp my book. I'm down to pimp my books.
There's a great idea. Let's do it. I'm okay with that. Time to show off our talents. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. That was not as long as I thought. I thought it would be like the whole 20 minutes. I thought it would be a little longer. But horrible interpretations of that show. And we all know why it's bad. We don't need a feminist biased slant to explain characters or characterization gone wrong. So, thank you so much for the idea. Sorry we didn't do the other one that was voted higher. It was a parody video. What is it? The bad screenwriting advice. And that's fun, but we wouldn't have much to say. We'd just be like, yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, that's cool. As opposed to giving criticism and reasons why tropes work or don't work at times. So, thank you guys. Have a great evening. Talk to you soon. Keep the suggestions coming. And have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thanks for the laugh.
Bye. Good night.